Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justin Katz Fairchild, and I'm here with the one, the only Switch. And today we're bringing you the Upsurge
Hey.
Minor League, week number 6 between the U.S. Army Esports and Don White. And well, we're ready at the champion select.
That's right. Already into the bands, and while they go underway, just a little bit of backstory on these two teams. We mentioned it earlier before the cast, but U.S. Army Esports currently sitting at 4-1, which is also, might I add, sponsored by the actual U.S. Army. So that's really cool. Didn't know that. And Don White here at currently 3-2. So both of them relatively close, and you could say middle of the.
Yeah, middle of the pack, pushing towards upper. Of course, you do have U.S. Army 4-1 right now, and pick up that win, they will move to 5-1. But let's take a look at these bands that are coming through. It's going to be the Nunu, Hekrub, and Karma from U.S. Army, and Don White going to be taking away the Aatrox, Jarvan, and Sejuani. And now at that first pick, let's see what they've got.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of these picks these bands rather, first of all, make a lot of sense in my opinion. I mean, the car definitely wreaking havoc, especially in solo queue and that support and mid position. Aatrox is still healthy. Jarvan, Sejuani are debatably the top two junglers, so getting a lot of power pick out of the way, especially pinching the jungle pool. It's actually going to be a first pick Mordekaiser, which is really smart in my opinion. I don't think there's a lot of real response to the Mordekaiser at the moment. If any, people try and run a sort of harass lane like the Kennen, like the Karma top, and then they just try and outfarm Rune Klepto as well to get more money and then hopefully have a bigger impact. But Mordekaiser is really wreaking havoc, especially against melee matchups.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how that matchup does go out in the top lane, but Don White does lock in their bottom lane in their first picks here with that Sivir and Yuumi. Incredibly strong bottom lane, and Sivir just been so strong recently. Being able to hit that 3-item power spike, she just comes next to unstoppable. And then you've got Yuumi behind her. You got the little magical cat that can just run up on you, heal you, and get the stun while she's at it. And maybe we'll see that, but Zoe here for the U.S. Army as well. A little bit of extra damage, but I'm not too sure. I just want to ask you the question: can you spell shield Mordekaiser's ulti?
That's a very good question. I would guess yes, because there's a lot of wonky stuff that you can spell shield. So, I mean, if you think about like Malefic Visions, like you can literally just spell shield. I would guess yes, because I mean it is a targeted spell. I mean, by proving, plus you can also QSS it as well. So if you can't spell shield it, I still think there's like a good amount of options, especially in the AD skis pocket to be able to get rid of that Mordekaiser Death Realm. So that's nice. And the Sivir Yuumi lane, you really can't go wrong with, especially in this current patch where, I mean, why wouldn't you want to shove out waves and then have a really strong late game composition? When you think about the Sivir Yuumi, I think especially what they bring is a lot of chase down with the Yuumi's Q. But to catch back up with this pick and ban, I mean, Zoe Draven did not see that coming. Draven in lane sounds like a strong counter to the Sivir. I mean, being able to out DPS her and have lane control as well to sort of dictate the lane towards not necessarily wave clear and shoving each other, but more trying to push the issue on that 2v2. We'll have to see what the support is paired with that. And the Kled is going to be rounding out the first pick phase for Don White. And Kled, interesting. I could see that as a good pick into the Mordekaiser. I think Mordekaiser is sort of a slow burn of damage that he brings, and Kled could potentially remount because of the fact that Mordekaiser doesn't have too much burst.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see this Kled versus Mordekaiser top lane, just because of kind of the innate snowball. It can go either way. If that Kled starts to get ahead, he can start to run over Mordekaiser and vice versa. And it's going to come down to a lot of jungle pressure as well. We don't have any junglers locked in yet, but the end of our ban phase here is that Lux and Amumu from the U.S. Army, and Don White going to take away that Olaf and Pike. There's the Vladimir Don White holding that jungle pick to last pick, and we'll see what the U.S. Army is going to finish up their composition with.
Yeah, potentially. We could also see some wonky flexes. This is not the first time that I could have seen a jungle Kled, so that's always on the table. Not sure if Don White really wants it, but Either way, like you said, Vladimir is still in a relatively good spot. He's just been sort of in that A tier for the longest time, brings a good amount of punch once he gets to that mid game, and his laning phase isn't too bad either. Doesn't have too bad of a problem with wave clear because of his E.
Yeah, that Soraka pick, though, for the US Army is going to be their counter towards the bottom lane, and kind of an interesting lane. Draven and Soraka, not something you really see too often, and with this lane, I'm kind of expecting Draven to opt for that barrier and Soraka to opt for that heal instead, just for a little bit more survivability. You have that Vladimir who's going to be able to dive the backline. You have the Kled who's going to be able to dive the backline. And, you have Saber just with her ricochets, her boomerang blanks. There's so much potential to get onto that backline there. And, Zoe there as well. And look at this last pick, Rek'Sai. Okay. We're all about backline dive and kind of just running you down for Don White with that on the hunt, with the Kled ultimate as well. And you're going to have to see how it comes out for either side.
Yeah, I think Kled does a great job, and Sivers on the hunt as well, doing a great job of making up for the weaknesses of both Vladimir and Rek'Sai. I think sometimes they have a hard time getting on top of the opponents and getting the damage out. Sure, Rek'Sai does have the Void Rush, but you usually want to use that as a bit of a finisher, not necessarily engage. So nice to see a very cohesive composition, especially late game. I think you have a lot of pressure going in. Like, you have a relatively good front line with the Kled Vladimir that will be poking through. And then once you actually do pull the trigger, press that go button, of course you have the stuff to make it work. And on the other side, US Army Esports, I think it's a sort of win lane, win game composition. Not that it's not cohesive, but that you could definitely imagine every single Wayne sort of winning out, whether that's in terms of pressure or whether that's just in terms of getting those solo kills or those duo kills, especially the Draven Soraka. Just seems really annoying to deal with. Like, if you're an 80 carry player, this is probably the last one you want to run into in solo queue. Draven just walking forward without a care in the world because he has Soraka queuing him up. You always have to keep in mind Soraka's level 6 as a global is sort of hard to keep track of, and it all seems relatively good for the most part. I like the responses that US Army Esports have given out. I just don't know how they're going to approach the mid to late game. When you're doing these 5v5 dances, they don't necessarily have a good front line.
Yeah, definitely. Not much of a front line there. You kind of have Mordekaiser, you kind of have the Xin Zhao, but not really tanky. You have the Soraka behind them for those heals, but it's not going to be enough from this damage from Don White once they hit that mid-late game. You have the Saber, you have that Vladimir. They're all going to put out so much extra damage into the backline, into the front line of US Army as well. But the kind of saving grace there is, like you said, a win lane, win game, and that's what it's going to come down to for this team. You have the Draven, you have the Soraka, you have the Xin Zhao, kind of these very early game champions that you want to get these ganks off if you have the Xin Zhao as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that you're lacking for the composition of US Army Esports is a really solid engage, as opposed to Don White. When you think about it, if you're playing in Don White's position, it's actually really easy to execute. If you ever think that you're at a man advantage or you want to go for a 5v5 play, you have the tools to be able to initiate it. While on the other hand, US Army Esports, I'm sure they'll have fun at 20 minutes. I just don't know how much fun they're going to have at 40 minutes when they're lacking engage. Maybe they're caught between a rock and a hard place and they need to force a fight because that's what they're good at, but they can't seem to find it. Maybe they're getting kited out because you do have good mobility on the other side of that. So it really all depends, I would say. And you hit the mark too on snowballing for the side of US Army Esports. And what better jungler than Xin Zhao? I think he has a good amount of presence in that early game, can probably go toe-to-toe with the Rek'Sai, and does a good job of disruption once you get to that mid to late game.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, just looking at these matchups individually, you take a look at that top lane matchup where you can really go either way, and that's where you see US Army looking for that snowball. You have this Mordekaiser, you have the Kled matchup, and with the jungle pressures, with the jungle pressure, either way, the Xin Zhao versus Rek'Sai matchup, both of them still with a decent amount of strength in the early game. Xin Zhao veering a little bit stronger, but it's really going to come down to the pathing and how those 2v2s are going to work.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, I'm not even sure if the Draven Soraka is going to work. It's a big gamble when not a lot of people are accustomed to the amount of sustain and the amount of poke that Yuumi has. I think sometimes I see teams sort of go all in. They're like, fine, we'll just win the 2v2. They pick something like Lucian Thresh, and then they lose it because of the fact that Yuumi's busted. Siver's pretty busted as well, but they're both busted in like not obvious ways, right? They don't necessarily just beat you to the ground, but slowly but surely they out-sustain you with the poke. You're taking ricochets to the face. You're taking a blade boomerang here and there. And of course, Yumi's Qs as well. It's really tough to deal with. And I think at the moment why this might be the strongest duo in the current patch is because they're the best at getting their way. They're the best at forcing their style of game, which is basically just shove out, don't care about the lane phase. You're going to win it anyways. But it's really about that mid game, the chase potential that you have as well. There's so much synergy there. And it's really tough to find good answers for it. So we'll have to see if US Army has found a good answer for it.
Yep, and with that, before we go to a quick break, I'd like to give a huge shout out to one of our sponsors, Kono. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, it all starts with your peripherals. From keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more, our friends at Kono have got you covered. Kono works with the world's best designers, inventors, and makers to bring you some of the best gaming peripherals around. Kono has been a huge supporter of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pool. If you need to find a new keyboard and more for your setup, we can't recommend anyone better than Kono. For more information, head on over to kono.store to check out all they offer. That's KONO.store. Kono, discover amazing products. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Minor League Week number 6. We got the U.S. Army Esports versus Dawn White. This is game number 1. I'm your play-by-play Cats, and with me a Switch. And, well, we're going to have ourselves an eventful game this one, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, I can't wait to see this Mordekaiser versus Kled. To think that Kled is an answer, not so sure about that. But we'll have to see how the play works out, how the jungle influence works out. And I think it definitely could be a good response to it, and it definitely allows the side of Dawn White to do what they want to do, especially when it comes to team fighting.
And we're going to want to keep our eyes on both these junglers, No, sorry, that was horrible. Basquilla.
Yeah.
And what their pathing is, because it's going to matter for both, I believe, top and mid lane on whether who wins due to that jungle pathing, just because how strong both these junglers are in the early game.
Yes, definitely. What lane that they start to approach or they start to pressure more is going to be key, because we could see these lanes going either way. I think especially in the bot, it's sort of a question mark for me where, yeah, I do see what US Army Esports is doing. They're picking the Draven, Soraka. They definitely want to smash lane. Listen, I haven't seen too many Sivir unis get splashed in lane, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I just think it's the fact that there might be a little bit overtuned.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, it can be more than a little bit. I'd say it's more than a little bit, but to each their own, I guess. And already you can see a little bit of extra damage going down. Draven does have that Soraka behind him, so he'll be fine, be able to heal up a bit, and shouldn't be too worried about that. Now, Sivir and Yumi still need to be careful, because they don't win all-ins at the moment. Draven has two axes going, and that can still definitely get run down. And important to note, they don't have heal either. And already, see a little bit extra damage.
I would actually pose the argument that it takes a lot more work for the Draven Soraka to win lane. I think it requires a lot more thought put through it. I mean, you pick when to hang on a second. Bark Chop, though, he's putting down the damage. Oh, Valencia's
down bot lane. There's the knock up. No heal. The flash gets blown, but it's a bit too late. Up on the top side as well.
Oh, the remount.
Red's gonna remount. Dirtle's gonna look for it. He is flashless. Porkchop has flash. He needs to be careful about that. Both of them just gonna go back to their lanes, but down to the bottom lane. Sivir goes down for that.
Yeah, that was in the span of like 2 seconds. A solid game coming in. Valencia picking up the kill for himself and starting his bot lane off to a good position. Talented, and It's Me That's OP are hopefully going to have a more promising lane now that they've blown out summoners, especially blown out the flash from Sivir. That's the only flash in that lane. He has Porkchop though.
Flash is available for Mordekaiser. He's going to go in and he is going to find it. He's going to try and trade on Bliska. Is he going to be able to get it? One more auto attack for the kill. Not going to be there. The flash away from Basquilla keeps him alive. But my God, we talked about the Mordekaiser already.
There is a reason why Mordekaiser is right now in this current patch defining who can be run in the top lane. It's the fact that he is just so strong at the moment. You could say overtuned, but I didn't say that. You didn't hear that from me. And definitely turns around. That's not the gank that I think Basquilla had in mind there, and he's going to have to be crawling away with his flash on cooldown and his top laner dead.
His top laner flashless as well. Not really too many opportunities to gank anywhere right now. You can't really find this though. She's still got her flash and heal. Usually look for summoner spells in opposite lanes or some invades, but this Zin's out 1-0 already. A little bit behind in terms of CS, and bottom lane still with all their summoner spells talented, and it's that OP to each their own. Holding their own, rather.
And I think I already want to talk about this certain concept, because you could say that this was a very good, intelligent pick and ban coming out from the side of Dawn White, except for the fact that they let through Mordekaiser. And I think the fact that, oh, hang on a second, Basquilla.
Here comes the gank. The flash is available. Heal gets used. Sleepy Bubble Trouble doesn't connect, and it's just going to be that heal getting burned. So nothing too much, but that's what we talked about, some of those summoner spells getting blown.
Yeah, just trying to do persistent ganks for the side of Basquilla. Yeah, hasn't really sort of got his footing yet, but as long as he keeps attempting, I'm sure going to start making some ganks work out. And return ganks is definitely might be the name of the game. Here's Valencia, though. Speaking of return ganks.
Dirtle is flashless here. She uses E. There's the knockup. Getting dismounted. He's trying to run away, but I don't think he's got anywhere to go. He gets under his tower. Valencia with one more hour attack to try and turn her. No, the sucker step backward. Pork Chop's able to secure that. Down in mid, though, Professor Akali might go down. Going pretty low. Direct to camera takes the spot lane. Who knows why? But Professor Akali blew that flash and he's able to escape.
Yeah, and that game plan that we sort of outlined for the side of US Army Esports, admittedly, we were sort of, joking. We don't actually expect them to win all 3 lanes, but they look like they could at this point. I mean, you've got mid very solid. Here's Talented going through.
Both summoner spells available for both of those bottom layers for the type of USA Esports, and they are holding it down. No flash, no exhaust for the side of Don White, though. They can kind of just run at them if they really wanted to. Talented, though, taking another Q to the face from Yuumi, and that's not what you want to do over and over. And he's taken a few so far, but doesn't matter just yet.
Yeah, it ain't a good look. I mean, we're not calculating the heal HP that's there, but at the same time, it's really hard to gain traction on this bot lane. We talked about it. It's the sustain, it's the poke that's coming out, so not a problem there. But, I mean, like I was saying, we could actually see all 3 of these lanes winning. I mean, they look very promising already, especially in the top lane. Pork Chop already 2-0 on the Mordekaiser pick versus a melee matchup. Is actually insanely big, and I think we're really going to be starting to see a leak of pressure in that top side. I think both champions, Kled and Mordekaiser, sort of want to be doing the same thing, and the fact that Mordekaiser is always going to be ridiculously ahead is definitely a problem. He's going to be commanding the waves. He's going to be hopefully zoning Turtle as well out of CS range, so it's not going to get easier for him, and I'm not even sure if you should expend more resources if you are Basquilla. That was very close. Here's Basquilla, though.
Here's Turtle actually
what a collapse.
In for some damage. And hold on, there's the collapse coming down. Basquilla with nothing. Able to use...
Oh, he's out.
Get away. Nice and easily. He's got some already ready for him with... Maybe he knew it was coming.
That's 200 IQ. Yeah, that's big brain right there.
Here they are trying to contest this blue buff. Valencia's going back in. No knockup available just yet. Instead of the knockup, the ultimate coming through as well. The exhaust going down, but it's not going to matter. It's me. That's OP. Secures that one. Cross Boodle should be able to connect. The Drowsy connects, but it doesn't matter because he is on the back of his Sivir. No one else around, but hold up. Right back up in the top lane. Dirtle, you're not in the best spot. He's going to flash away. You can't walk back in, or can you? He's going to try and look for the turnaround. Pulling him back in a little bit of extra slow, and he escapes. But, man, not before giving me a heart attack.
Yeah, he worked his ass off just to escape alive there. And, I mean, good play from him. But at the same time, that sucks. You lose your flash just to get out alive. You can tell this matchup is really swinging in the favor of Pork Chop. Here's Valencia just playing that patient game, but it's not going to pay off. So, I'm going to go back to his jungle. And things still look very promising for the side of US Army Esports. They haven't necessarily hit a speed bump yet. They're cruising at a very solid incline.
Yeah, no, while they haven't hit a speed bump, they aren't probably scaling as like as they would do. But hold on, gank. The flash is not used.
All right.
It goes down, so is the pool. Flash. No problem. Always secures that one.
Just a solid gank once again coming out from Valencia. He just seems to be bouncing all over the map, finding good ganks, while on the other hand, you could say Basquilla just not gaining any traction off of the ganks that he's putting out, finding his jungle taken away as well. There goes the chickens. And it's a hard knocks life for the side. Here we go, talented. I don't know why I said that with an accent. I was thinking talented, you know that? Yeah. That's the ice cream. There's good ice cream, dude.
It's very good ice cream. Some
it's like sorbet.
Is good.
Oh no, they're crazy, dude.
Yeah. Wow. Death. I mean, he keeps walking up and just taking this damage. The UV heals are not enough. And then there's this rocket behind him. She's hit level 6. She's got the wish. That ultimate could be huge. And yeah, now you can see Yuumi roaming getting down as well.
Absolutely. Here's Alacrity trying to roam, but spotted out by Basquilla. But at the same time, I mean, not losing too much in terms of that mid lane. But he is losing that blue buff. I guess that wasn't meant to be leashed over to the side of Alacrity. Whatever.
Doesn't go to him. Doesn't go to Professor Akali. Basquilla does secure that.
Clearly, a Shinzao needs the blue buff. You know, how's he gonna cast spells if he doesn't have mana?
Oh yeah, obviously. And he's 2-0-2. His mid laner only
He
0-0-1
Yeah.
at 10 minutes. Come on.
His mid's trolling. He should keep it. He's actually just keeping it out of harm's way.
Honestly. Yeah. He's controlling. He's got the game right now. And actually, I believe Angel spotted Talented there, but opted not to stop his back. And well, I wholeheartedly agree with that. You do not want to go anywhere near that Drain right now. He backed. He picked up that extra pickaxe as well. And, you know, for as bad as Dirtle is doing right now, his CS is not horrible. He's not so far behind that he's not come back.
Definitely. The concept of remounts is there, and that might be a bit of safety. Here's the Dragon, started for the side of Don White, but the collapse is seemingly coming out. There's Basquilla.
Might have gone in a little bit too far, and indeed he did. Valencia finds one already. Look at the paddle star. So much damage. Professor Akali, you are on the run. The ultimate come through, staying alive for just a little bit longer. Exhaust is there as well, but I don't think it is going to matter at all. Alacrity to find that one. And the cat with nowhere to go gets picked on up by another bubble from the Zoe. 2, 3 more kills over to the USA Army. And they are going to go for some plates in the mid lane.
Yeah, and at first glance on the minimap, I saw the Dragon and I said, yeah, they can actually do that, and pretty smart play. You just saw the Draven Soraka back as well, but they just didn't do it quite fast enough. I don't know what the hesitation was, and in the end, they allowed way too much time for the likes of Alacrity, the likes of Valencia. Is Porkchop putting down some more damage. The remount is close. And the mid-siege is definitely continuing. The nice Sleepy Trouble bubble.
The Sleepy Trouble bubble. Valencia's in. Valencia gets the knockup. Will he be able to finish it? No, he won't. Talented between two towers.
Hang on.
The damage coming gets it. But look at that final axe from Talented. He picks up another. His first, actually, and he's able to cash in.
That's the fadeaway right there. But a good stall, at the very least, coming out for the side of Don White. They don't lose the mid-tower yet. Here's Dirtle.
Porkchop, he's going to send him to the Shadow Realm. You cannot escape. Porkchop, though, he's a little bit under that tower. Needs to be careful. There's the power shot, but the shield is there. One more auto attack. Porkchop finishes that one off, and that's a 3-0 Mordekaiser.
Yeah, you can see Dirtle getting as close as he could to the tower, because the tower does transfer through to the Death Realm, but just not enough. The shield coming through for the Mordekaiser meant that that was going to be an easy 1v1. The return to the Dragon, and this time might just be settled for the side of Don White. Don't know if it was worth losing those skirmishes for, but at the end of the day, at the very least, you get it. Hopefully you can sort of capitalize off of that, but at the same time, it's a pretty big disparity in terms of the gold. Around 6,000. Here's Valencia again.
Back in the bottom lane, not going to find that knockup, but look at the damage. The spinning axe is Talented. Sure has got some talent, but Dirtle, he's trying to get the kill to Porkchop. He's not going to find it. Angel of Death goes down once again. And my goodness, the kill goes over to Drake.
Yeah, we're just seeing really great play coming out of US Army Esports, making sure that they're keeping the pacing really quick, keeping the tempo up, and not giving any lanes really a time to settle down, get some farm, and get some items in their pocket. It's all about the kills, and they're going in favor of the side of US Army Esports. Another top lane.
Dirtle, I don't know if you want to do this. He goes in. He willingly takes this fight.
What a flash.
He flash away from that Q. He might be able to remount. On the remount. He missed his Q. He missed the shot.
You know, cats, 'tis the life of a Kled main, you know? you just bet it all on remounting, and sometimes doesn't come through. Sometimes the Mordekaiser just smacks you down, but at the very least, it was really close. The flash forced out from the side of Basquilla. Just no one on the side of Don White having a good time right now, getting sieged practically all of the lanes. The Rift Herald started for the side of Valencia, and you've got to claw back this game if you are Don White.
Yeah, the thing with Don White, though, is they have this later game team comp. They can sit back and scale if they want to. They have a decent amount of wave clear in that Sivir and in that Vladimir, but they've just been sending it. They still are trying to win these fights that they just can't win. And we see it once again, taking that trade, which was completely unneeded, taking a huge crit from the Draven. And Soraka's just there to heal him right back up.
That's the thing. You look back to some of the plays. Did they really need to force that mountain drag? Yeah, they got on the second attempt, but I don't know if that's going to mean anything for the next, I don't know, 20 minutes.
I mean, look at another force here. Dirtle's trying to take it.
Oh,
You cannot take this. The
What a
flash
flash.
forward, and look at that. Alcredy picks up another. Valencia getting chased down. The ultimate is available from Basquilla.
Here's Soraka.
On. Gonna find the
no.
Q, gonna find the ulti. It comes
Holy.
through and it secures the kill. Wish was available from Soraka, and I'm sure he's receiving a little bit of point for that. Here comes the on the hunt. It gets popped out. They're looking to chase him down. The root does connect. The Wish is there as well.
Hey.
Vladimir is arrived. Baskilla's taking up that tower, and Talented should go down solo with Akali, but not before taking 2 members of USA Army. But hold on. It's the Mordekaiser. He might banish someone, and indeed he does. Takes Angle Death. He is on the run. The damage is coming through. The spell shield, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And he's looking for the 1v3. The exhaust. Look at how large that shield is. Baskilla does not have that ultimate. He's going to try and escape. Going solo. The flash forward. Pork Chop picks up another. And the 1v3 has been completed by the one and only the Mordekaiser. He'll let him burn to death in his W. And my God, he is 7-0.
Yeah, Pork Chop's having real fun right now. He's playing a game of League of Legends. You know who isn't right now? I think Drool Spittle, after that laning phase, he just finds himself on his allies. His allies die, and then he's like, well, that's all, folks. Guess I'll be going then. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the only problem that I have with that. Don White are in voice communication. If that is going badly, or if you realize, wow, Mordekaiser is really strong, you should actually just tell your team, like, yeah, don't wait up for me, because I'm pretty much dead here. Like, guys, go to tower, whatever. But, like, the other 2 waited for him to get out of the Death Realm. He got out of the Death Realm, proceed to spank them both. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I didn't say anything on that one.
Do you need a play-by-play when it's literally just Alacrity, like, styling on people? Here's the Riptail, though. Gonna make an impact and take that tier 2.
You see there, the Sleepy Trouble bubble actually connects, but no extra damage. Talented pretty far up. He is looking deep. One more auto attack. Eagle Death does find effect. Holly's going to use that flash to escape. Rift Herald in for another charge. And the damage from Alacrity is still there and still strong. Valencia, you're a bit deep, but not going to matter. He's got the heal to escape from Zoe and walk away. But an inhibitor tower dropping at 17 minutes, and it might be an inhibitor as well.
I mean, this inhibitor looks all but gone. You still have Basquilla and Angel Death hovering around. A little bit more reinforcements coming right now. Professor Alacrity, along with that Yuumi, this might be.
There is the on the hunt. It's going to get popped. The silence is going to get the Sivir trying to chase them down, but not going to find anything. Look at the Boomerang Blade. Not going to be there either. The team's going to back off because they know they might have bitten off more than they can chew because Pork Chop is there. He's going to vanish. Vladimir away to the Shadow Realm, get him away for the time being, trying to pull everyone back on in, but he has no extra health. You are in a 1v5. There's the turnaround. The damage coming through. Basquilla is so low, he's able to turn around and get a kill for himself. And Angle of Death secures that one, and they're able to get a huge shutdown on the Mordekaiser.
Well, that was awkward. I can't actually tell if these teams are in voice communication. But either way, I mean, you're allowed a little bit of wiggle room with your plays because of the fact that you have an insane lead, 11,000 gold. You secured that Drake as well, so that's gonna be Cloud Drake in your pocket. And you could debatably say that that is the most useless Drake for the side of Don White to have. A Mountain Drake, when you're this far behind, means absolutely nothing. You're not gonna be touching towers, let alone neutral objectives, when the prospect of taking a 5v5 is nothing that you want to have anything to do with. So is really not going to gain any effective gold out of that dragon. I don't know if I really see an out for the side of Don White. I think they're really far behind. They're going to start losing valuable objectives. We're only 1 minute away from the Baron. Next dragon as well is going to be another cloud. So 2 clouds. I mean, that's not the worst of your issues right now, but it doesn't help.
Doesn't help at all. I mean, you can even see the strength. 1v2 right now is Alacrity on this. Only 5-0-2. He's been huge this entire game. You know, he's kind of been unsung. We don't talk about him at all. I mean, same goes for Valencia. Oh no, Zoe. Oh no.
And
Alacrity, though, is caught out. He'll get punished for his sins there. And Pork Chop might be the next target.
Here's the thing, though. He's having fun playing League of Legends right now, so I kind of envy him, right? Like, you know, you're seeing people like Talented, like Valencia, like Pork Chop. They're all having fun playing League of Legends right now, and they have this wiggle room, like we talked about. The Baron, coming up in about 10 seconds. Might just be 3-man here for the side of US Army Esports because they're not lacking any pressure. Here's the charge, though, coming out from Kled.
I don't know if you want this. You 1v3
And
him one
here
time
we
before,
go.
and it's going to come again. Baskilla's going so low. There's the ultimate. It's not going to matter. The Q comes through. He's still trying to chase him down. The Shadow Realm has stalled out. The shield is there. Baskilla gets one shot, bringing him back on in, but he's not going to find anything else. The Wish is there for a little bit of extra healing. Look at that damage. But it's not going to matter, sadly. But with 3 people down, bottom side, US Army just goes bare.
Yeah, Soraka coming in for a cameo appearance there. Not actually helpful. But at the same time, you got everything going in your favor. You lost your Mordekaiser, but just gained that Baron buff. Pretty good trade, I would say. And you're starting to think about putting those final nails in this coffin of Don White if you are US Army Esports. Probably going to be orienting themselves towards that mid inhibitor, and then you're going to be working on that split push with the side inhibitors. Perhaps a 4-1 because Porkchop, I mean, if you send more than one person there, he's just going to use his ultimate, get that 1 kill perhaps, and start to snowball it into more. It's bad to worse for the side of Don White.
I think it might be worst to worst, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think it's past bad.
Worst.
Not looking too hot for them, though. But, you know, still holding in. It's not over. It's winnable. Actually, do I want to say that?
Bold statement.
Someone caught out now, getting chased down. Zertol is up there to help him out if he needs it, but he is on the run and not going the right way either.
Okay, hang on. This might be a 4v4.
They're looking for the fight. Mordekaiser's down bottom lane. There comes the teleport, looking for the kill of the field. They're not going to find the just yet. Spinning action doing a bit of extra damage. Resakali trying to look for the re-engage. Porkchop going in, not going to find anything there. That's just going to burn a lot of ultimates on both of these sides, both the Xin Zhao and the Draven. The other side on the Hunt and Yumi is going to get dropped as well. And here we go. You're sorry.
Yeah, that was almost a split-second TP coming in. Porkchop showed up right on cue, became a 5v4. And obviously not something you want to take for the side of Don White. They lose their mid. Might just be losing their bot now. You gotta wait for a response. Is the charge coming through?
Porkchop getting caught up a little bit. Turtle's going to go incredibly low, but the damage is going to come. Alacrity's going to pick up one low, but it's not going to matter. Alacrity with his second. Alacrity with a little bit extra damage. Talented looking for another. One more crit to the back, and he finds a double kill, looking for a triple. And this should be the end of the game. USA Esports taking it quick, under 23-minute game.
Oh yeah, and it all went right for you as well. Like we talked about, no real speed bumps there. If anything, the biggest speed bump you could say is losing Cap Mountain Drake. All right, just the style points at this point. Is it the KDA? Nah, it's just sending a message. This is a best of 3, so not the end of the series, but game 1 decisively over to US Army Esports.
Decisively is a way to put it. That was definitely
decided to win, and then they won. So
I mean, that's a way to do it. You're right. You're definitely right on that point. I mean, definitely going into this game too, I think the Mordekaiser is going to be taken away.
Bold prediction. Let's see if it comes through. I could see where you're going with that one, though, Cats. That Mordekaiser was a real problem, but at the same time, though, we gotta say, fantastic response coming out for the Draven Soraka in terms of that bot lane. Looked to be comfortable post level 6 in terms of that 2v2 potential versus the Sivir Yumi. And in the mid lane, it was just Alacrity actually very comfortable versus a Vladimir. I mean, Vladimir is no real threat in the laning phase, but at the same time, Alacrity was definitely being as proactive as possible. And Valencia, I think I really had to give it up to him the most. Like Porkchop, I could say, yeah, you had a fantastic game, but you're on Mordekaiser, right? There's that little footnote right there. It's like, yeah, but it's Mordekaiser. Valencia actually was just playing a regular League of Legends champion and had a good game too. So clap it up for him. 3-1-11, but had a ton of participation in terms of that early game. So props to him. And you've got a lot of questions to answer if you are the side of Don White.
Most definitely. But before we do go to our quick break, Upsurge Esports is giving everyone, experienced or not, the chance to compete for a prize pool of $3,000, as well as an opportunity to qualify Words are hard.
Yeah.
Qualify for the Riot Games LCS Scouting Grounds qualifiers. This 2-day tournament will be on August 3rd and 4th, but registration is now open. There's no entry fee. Anyone can enter, so strap in and get ready for the Upsurge Esports Open Qualifier.
Oh, I'm strapped in. I'm ready.
All right, well, we will be right back with game number 2 between the U.S. Army Esports and Don White. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Minor League week number 6. We've got the U.S. Army Esports versus Don White. U.S. Army Esports taking game one pretty convincingly, and right away, right out the gate, we're seeing that Mordekaiser ban.
Wow, that just came out of left field, I would say. who expected that one? Am I right, Cats? Well, nice to see that the non-champions are out of the game, so now we get to see a game full of real champions. And we're still seeing a good pinch to that jungle pool. I mean, Jarvan, Nunu, Hecarim, these are all recurring bans. The last one left is that Sejuani that could be banned for Don White. But no, they want to keep that Aatrox. Admittedly, a relatively good idea. I mean, Aatrox is having a good time in that top lane. And now that we've got rid of the super strong top lane picks, I think this does leave a bit of room to sort of go towards what your composition dictates. There is still Tahm Kench like running rampant, so maybe you don't want to blind a melee in the top lane, but you've got your choices there. Nothing's really off the table, and that Zoe ban, though, that is going off the table. And what a first pick. Making a lot of sense, too. The Sejuani, debatably the best jungler in the current meta for the side of Don White. Hopefully they'll have a stronger early game than they did last game.
Yeah, I mean, you had the composition that would look like it would scale good late, and it looked like it was able to survive that early game, but, you know, Mordekaiser able to overcome all odds and, well, be Mordekaiser, starting off 7-0 and then slowly scaling into that monster he was. And, you know, not without the help of that Xin he had behind him and the rest of his team, as they kind of did win all three of those lanes. We had that counter pick down in the bottom lane with the Draven and Soraka versus that Sivir Yuumi lane. And this time around, might be a Kled for Pork Chop up on the top side.
Ooh, I mean, he looked good on the Kled. Like, I think he was like 3 kills down, and he almost won that 1v1. If you recall, he just needs a remount. He like had the bar full, but you know, Skarl didn't come in time, so he's like on the floor bleeding. But to go that close to winning in a 1v1 when you're versus a Mordekaiser that's 3-0 is actually insanely impressive. And now we get dropped back to reality with the Tahm Kench coming in. That's just gonna make things not so fun once again for a Kled player. This time going in the favor of Don White. And of course, we didn't touch on the Karma, but that leaking through the picks and bans when banned last game, this time picked up for the US Army Esports. The Morgana going to be rounding out the pick phase for Don White. And you have an interesting composition that I would say perfectly fits a strong hyper carry in the bot lane. So awaiting to see what that'll be and awaiting to see what the last pick is for US Army.
Yeah, once again, Sivir open, Kai'Sa open as well, as is that Draven, but they're probably not going to see a Draven this time around. It's maybe looking for more of a counter pick, and there is that Sivir. It's the Sivir Karma bottom lane we all know and love, the TSM special, as I like to call it. Back in like season 6, where they ran it every single game, Uplift and Biofrost. But anyways, That's a great bottom lane. And even though there is that Morgana, there is so much potential to dodge away from that with those shields, with the spell shield in itself as well. But into this next ban phase, and Kaisa is going to be the first one to take away for the US Army.
Right, and that brings me back to the pick and ban for Don White because I don't mind the Morgana. I just feel like you actually could have secured a really high priority AD carry, not get your AD carry pool pinched like we're seeing now, because the Morgana perhaps it could have gone through. I mean, you still have mid end potentially, another lane that could be garnering bans instead. What I'm saying is I would have loved to see that Sivir in the hands of Don White and giving it over to US Army as the last pick of their first pick phase is actually really weird to see. The Lux ban, the Yuumi ban, the Olaf going to be finishing up our second ban phase as we go right through, and I'm still wondering what that AD carry is going to be what side of Don White. Admittedly, only the Kaisa ban there, so you still have some potentially good picks. I would actually love to see a Jinx because I think you do a relatively good job into the Sivir, and also because of the defensive options that you get from the Tahm Kench, the Morgana, maybe you won't get one balled in a team fight, but we'll have to see how that goes. Kayn actually going to rear his head into this pick and ban phase for the side of US Army.
Yeah, interesting pickup though for the Kayn. That's not something we see too often anymore, and especially into a Sedge wanting. That's not a champion you kind of expected, I guess. Jinx, though, like you did call out, will be the pickup for Don White and allowing for a little bit more late game super scale, super carry, and then the Corki's there with it, and to scale and bridge that mid game a little bit. And this is a very strong late game composition for Don White. The Sejuani tankiness, the Tahm Kench tankiness, the Morgana peel, and then you have that Jinx and Corki, those two late game carries that can get to be huge. But the question is, will they be able to get there? Because that's kind of what we saw last game. We saw Don White want to go to that later composition, but get run over, but get snowballed in, and that might be what we're seeing again, because that's a LeBlanc pick.
That is a LeBlanc, and right off the bat, we're seeing a very similar style in terms of composition for the side of US Army, because you do have some good dive in your hands here. I mean, the LeBlanc, the Kayn, the Kled, they're all going to be hovering around that back line, and you're really going to have to put that Morgana, put that Tahm Kench to work. I actually would not have been sold on the Morgana if it wasn't for the fact that one of Karma's core builds is the Athene's Unholy Grail, which does provide some sustain, because I think against this composition, you could be definitely affected by your lack of a big HP pool, your lack of sustain for the LeBlanc, but Karma hopefully going to be helping out with that. And you have some solid engage as well. Of course, the On the Hunt, the Mantra, the Inspire from the Karma as well, going to help your team get inside of that backline. And it's really just going to become a slugfest after that. If I were to really outline it, I would say Don White has to put a lot of work into sort of prepping up that fight, sort of getting that surface poke down, making sure that US Army are always chunked so that when they do pull the trigger, maybe you end up winning that all-in fight, because I think right off the bat, they don't have the best all-in, but they can win it. The lanes don't look too bad for the most part. I'm just worried a little bit about the Tahm Kench versus Kled. I think Tahm Kench is a pick that a lot of people are not used to in terms of his damage and how fast he can ramp up his passive.
Yeah, and I mean, Tahm Kench top has kind of been always that one top laner. You know he's there. You know he's really annoying, but you don't see him too often. But when he does get picked, man, do you hate your life. Like, that champion will just do whatever in his will to just run you down. And if he gets ahead, he gets ahead. He will start to snowball out of control. But once again, we've seen Pork Chop's mechanics. We saw him on that Mordekaiser last time. He's going to be on the Kled this time around. So it's a little bit of a switch up. It will be Kled on the opposite player this time around. So see how he performs on that up in the top side, and how the jungle pressure will happen once again. It's going to be the Sejuani for Don White and the Kayn for the US Army. So it's a little bit different junglers for both of these sides. We'll have to see what they opt for in terms of where they want to put out that jungle presence.
Yeah, now Valencia, I would say, might have a bit more of his work cut out for him this time around. Not necessarily one of those even matchups in terms of early pressure that we saw last game with the Xin Zhao versus the Rek'Sai, I believe. In this case, it's just going to be Kayn, who is not necessarily off the ground running in terms of the early game, while Sejuani actually does have a relatively good time in the early game, especially with that permafrost being like a point and click stun. Essentially, when you get those hits ramped up, it's actually a pretty strong tool in terms of skirmishes. I think for the most part, Valencia is going to be going for these high percentage ganks and then trying to farm up, trying to get close to transforming as Kayn. I would say Red Kayn might be the best one because seeing as how the compositions are going, I think it's going to be a slugfest. Like you're going to find yourself in melee range of everyone because you're not really lacking engage, so may as well just go Red Kayn here. You're not necessarily going to be poking around, and I'd love to see the Kayn work. The thing is, if he does get through the early game, his mid game is insane.
Yeah, his mid game can be huge, and once he gets some of those tanky stats, once he gets a little bit of extra damage, he might not be able to assassinate that Jinx and Corki, but he can stall for so much extra time for that LeBlanc to get into the backline, for that Kled to get into the backline, and for Sivir to put some damage down, and the front line shred through them. But it's important to note as well, Dawn White has those tanks. They still are pretty beefy. The Tahm Kench, the Sejuani, that are two really, really annoying front lines, two really, really big front lines. And it's going to be all about whether they can shred through them. You do have that LeBlanc for that backline first, and that's going to come down to Elcredy once again. We saw him on the Zoe last time. How is he going to perform in LeBlanc? It's kind of the question.
Yeah, I mean, the LeBlanc does seem to fit him because he was looking like a monster on the sort of assassin Zoe playstyle that he was running last game. Really seemed on the ball, and Professor Akali did not get many chances to play that laning phase, in my opinion. So I'll have to see how his play comes into this next game. The whole side of US Army Esports probably feel on fire because it was sort of like all three lanes won. They didn't hit any speed bumps, and we haven't seen necessarily any responses coming out for the side of Dawn White. So on one hand, they're on fire. On the other hand, if we do see some really good early games, perhaps some really good team fighting coming out for the side of Dawn White, could catch US Army off guard. But there you have it. I mean, the composition's laid out. I might even just give a prediction if I'm feeling spicy here. I still think that this favors US Army Esports because of the fact that they have a very similar playstyle. I think they have a great early game, and they've shown that they can work these early games out. Valencia, although he's not on as high of a tempo jungler as Xin Zhao, is still going to have a big impact, which you want him to have. He looks like a fantastic player. I think they're still going to be able to dictate this early game, get it off the ground, and not hit any bumps along the way to that Nexus.
Yeah, most indeed. It's going to be all about that execution. But right before we go to break, if you're looking for a fast, reliable way to find some scrims for your teams, then look no further than Scuttle Scrims. Scuttle Scrims is a reliable and easy application that allows you to quickly search for active teams of all ranks and all skill levels that are looking for reliable practice partners. Log in, search your ranks, and request a scrim. For more information, visit their website at scuttlescrims.com. We'll be right back with game number 2 between the US Army Esports and Dawn White. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's week number 6 here in the Upsurge Minor League. We've got the US Army and US Army currently up 1-0 and coming out of a pretty convincing game number 1. Looking to end it in a 2-0 series. Don White, though, trying to get back, trying to force us to a game number 3.
Yeah, just trying to have a good early game, I would say. I think that's the first approach for Don White. You don't want to get run over like last game. And hang on a second, look at this.
Knows he's around there. I like the positioning for an angle. He actually stays in the back half of the bush. So
and unfortunately, Karma was super far behind too, so no chance to get like a Mantra Q slow off of that. So that's going to be the end of that invade.
Nothing really coming out of that one. They do get an award on the red buff, but should kind of be a given that this is going to start there anyways. And or not, actually looks like she's going to be starting at blue, so they will get that information. Both the junglers going to start towards that top side, and Kane over at those raptors.
Right, and technically that is going to mean that both of the junglers are going to meet around that bottom scuttle, assuming they don't try and swap their pathing a little bit, maybe throw in a Grom, throw in a scuttle crowd just to sort of switch up the timing. Here we are, standard play. No tricky stuff in that level 1. The Kane is going to be starting on Raptors, of course, as he usually does. Nice binding. And we're off to the races. Let's see how Don White does with, I guess you could say, a bit more favored of an early game.
And do have a little bit better early game if Siltwani's able to get some ganks out, especially with this bottom lane as well, if they're able to hit level 2 earlier. But looks like they are getting shoved in a little bit. It is a Karma and Saber lane, so that's to be expected. But if you're able to get a bind and combo up with those choppers, that can get some summoner spells quite early in this match.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about this duo lane if I were the ADC, and I don't know if Jinx has a good time. Like, it's not necessarily bad when you think about Jinx into Sivir or Morgana into Karma, but I think just the combination of the two is not a good 2v2 for the side of the Jinx Morgana. I think you're going to have a really hard time dealing with all this poke. Don't have any sustain, and you're not really going to be able to dictate the lane either. I don't think Morgana does a good job of zoning versus the Karma. They're basically just going to be at the mercy of this basically really strong 2v2 for the side of the Sivir Karma, and you can already see him putting it to work. Trying to move forward and make sure that you're getting that wave to collapse onto that tower, making sure you can deny CS eventually. But here we go, Baskilla.
He's gonna look for it, gonna get it in.
No shield yet too.
Flash is there, the W gets dodged.
Oh wait, that
landing connects! Ace flashing forward, that could be the kill. Yes, it will be. Baskilla is gonna secure that one with the red buff. And man, that was unexpected.
That was so clutch coming out. Jewel Spittle might have been out of Fog of War too. Here's Valencia though, wants to get something in return. What is this TP coming through? Here's the problem too. There's not even a dragon up, so there's no way to convert this.
Oh wait, that's talented. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
We were all confused for a second. There's no way you're gonna send your Kled down this early. It's not even 4 minutes. Come on.
Yeah, that's when communication gets the best of you right there. Nice binding, or rather, nice snare coming out from this Karma, and here we go, Dirtle.
Here comes the Tom Ken shit. We talked about the gains down bottom side. Flash only available from Jewel Spittle. Angle does not have it.
Yeah.
Right, Rio trying to look for the damage, but he's gonna block away that Q. Really smart there from Jewel Spittle.
Yeah, it's early Kane. Like, yeah, you're probably not expecting much from that gank right there. But at the very least, is slowly working towards his transformation eventually. And it's definitely up for debate, but I don't know. I'm feeling the red buff Kane here. You got some good setups going on for you. You're definitely going to be sitting on top of both of the enemy marksmen once it gets to that mid game, and you're gonna have a good time. First dragon coming up. Let me check right now. Actually, it's going to be the Cloud.
It will be a Cloud. I want to take a quick note at the items here picked up by Jinx. She started out with the T-shirt and she's going for a call second here. I actually really like this. You're able to get a lot of extra gold efficiency and sit back and get your item spikes quicker. You're not really going to do anything until you do hit that 2-3 item power spike. kind
It's
of
matched. It's matched too because Talented just
yeah,
got called.
that's cool.
Yeah, so they're both just like,
All
you know.
right, so it's useless either way.
I mean, technically, but you could get to the situation where one 80k finishes their cull before another and then gets that, gold spike. But here we go, Valencia.
He might be able to turn. I feel like Tom Kench can go into Valencia.
Oh,
That's exactly what he's gonna do. He might flash forward.
What
Yes,
a champion.
There's the consume. One more auto attack.
No!
Find it. The tongue lash isn't gonna connect either. And Dirtle, yeah, you got it, buddy. I'm sorry. Pork Chop takes that one.
Poor
I
Dirtle,
thought he had
man.
the 1v2.
I know, that was so close too, but I think the cooldown of his Q just did not come back up in time. He spat him out, got an auto attack through, but could not get anything else. So that's going to be Valencia having a very scary but successful game for himself. He'll be working again towards that transformation, and things are not going badly for you if you are US Army Esports. And, like we said, we definitely do want to see the side of Don White have a different early game. We want to see him get off the ground. We want to see him come out swinging. We gotta wait a little longer for it.
1-1 right now, so it's not really a lead either way. About 4,000 actually in the favor of US Army, and that's mostly NCS in the top side at the moment. Both bottom and mid just about even. There's a wave crashing into the Corki, so just farming either way. Back in the jungle as well, even levels, both 5. Just a bit of extra poke down in the bottom, and we're seeing the poke, and you talked about no sustain. Hold up, Alcredy is down in the bottom side. Flash and Ignite available. Morgana, you might have bit off more than you can chew. Yes, you did. And she goes down. Next target will be Angle of Death, or will it? Nope, I think she's going to back on off. The clear is more than enough. Keep him alive. She's going to rotate right back mid and take herself another kill.
Yeah, and that quick rotation back is just a really intelligent play. You don't want to overforce it. You don't want to wait for the side of Don White to bring reinforcements into that bot lane. So you take that one kill. You go ahead and go back to that lane, catch your wave too, don't lose any CS. So overall, quite successful for Alacrity, well orchestrated. And you can just see the proactivity coming out for the side of US Army Esports there. They know how to work this early game, while on the other hand, I think we're only really seeing passivity coming out for the side of Don White.
Hey, a lot of Don White's plays have been very reactive.
Oh,
They're not able to... Man, poor Chop. He's fine. We're fine. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's... Anyways. Don White has been a lot more reactive than proactive. And that's kind of happened in both these games. They're not looking for these games. Skilla has not been able to get off successful games. And right now, he's in a great position to look for those things. He's just hit level 6. He's got that glacial tomb. He can look down in the bottom side. As long as this bottom lane can blow that dark binding. That tongue lash was fair.
Glad we agree on that one.
Yeah,
But you're completely right. This is as good of a time as any to snowball for Baskilla. He's got to pick a lane, make sure his Glacial Prison is on point. And it's going to take a little bit longer. I mean, doesn't want to make a mistake. There's a charge, though.
Dirtle is on the run. Taking a bit of extra damage. Going to turn around, blow that shield. Poke Chop going to lose aggro. It's going to be Valencia.
Hang on. Oh, wow.
Chop might take another tower shot. Might go down. Yes, he does.
Is it a double?
It's a double for Kali. He takes it down the bottom lane. He missed it. The skill did blow that ultimate. Didn't find anything other than the flash heal from White Rito. But that was 2 kills for the Corki, and that might be the last person you want to give it to.
Yeah, you will absolutely take that. I mean, first of all, this is a fantastic call from the side of US Army. They knew that they could juggle turret aggro with both the ultimate and the D-mounts. This is going to actually be the Cloud Drake started up with this response here. Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, she steals the dragon. My god, it gets down to 28 HP.
This might be it.
This is a huge collapse here for USA. There's 3 people around. Kali, legs out. We've got to pause.
Yeah, cats. Yeah, this is the we'll be right back.
yeah, right.
Play the music.
Oh,
man.
boy.
All right, go ahead, cats. Tell me how it goes.
Yeah, so there we go. That's 1 kill already. Talented. Still there. The Chomp's not going to keep your Jinx alive. She flashes away.
Right.
Yeah, actually, eating up a Root there. He goes down. Dirtle He just has to turn, Turtle. Turn. Come on, you're Tom Kench. He's doing it.
Oh,
One
gosh.
more attack.
Don't get too close to him.
Oh, he's got the bush. Oh, he's not going to use the bush. He's just going to run away.
No mana on the karma.
Speed up is
too.
there. I don't know about that path. Or do I? He's made the Scorpion.
Stop! Leave him alone.
Here's the kill. Turtle still the next target. Alcremie has a little bit of a shield trying to turn it right back around. He gets one kill. The red buff is available. He's going to pop it on down. But this fight is just extended. We're still going. It's not ended. Drill spikes re-arrives. The root connects. The big one, the auto attack, and the red buff has been handed over to Professor Kali now. Oh, this entire time, Porkchop up in the top side.
Yeah, he's just playing like smooth jazz. He's just hitting that tower like, oh, what a lovely day on Summoner's Rift. While there's literally a bloodbath around that mid bot lane. That was like, that was definitely a long time. But here's Valencia trying to stop this push, and we're just starting to simmer down here. Let's take a breather. We're still even in kills, but at the same time, that Cloud Drake, as well as a bit of a goal lead over in favor for the side of US Army Esports. They took a lot of place in that top side. And you saw that steal onto the dragon too. That was just sick coming out of Alacrity. Nice heads up play, and they won the team fight too, so nothing lost.
Thankfully, though, for the side of Dawn, it is just a Cloud Dragon, a little bit of extra movement speed out of combat. And Talented chilling around, he's waiting for his support to come back while Rito is on the way. But like I said, only a Cloud, so right now Dawn White is fine. The next dragon up will be an Inferno, though. That'll be a little bit more highly contested.
Yeah, that's a bit spicier of a dragon. You definitely want to break your back over that. Make sure you get the right picks or just the right setup to make sure you secure that Inferno Drake. There we go. Another gank into the top lane. Poor Dirtle. I have to flash out there.
Blows his flash, able to dodge away from Valencia. It's good flash, though. Definitely needed to use it. You're not tanky enough to 1v2 like you could previously.
Oh, man, his
tower,
tower
he
too.
has nothing to do.
He's just a sad Pepe. Like he's just Pepe hands right now. He's a frog too, or something. I know people on Reddit get really mad when you hey, are you from Reddit, by the way? Oh, jeez, here we go.
My goodness, Drill Sprite, you're way too far up. The Glacial
wow.
out, but it doesn't connect. Spell Shield would have been there either way. The Mega Death Rocket finds one. Why reach? Target one more auto attack to finish him off, but it's not going to be there. Single death. Don't chase it down. Good idea.
Well, I mean, 1 for 1 overall. You can't complain too much, but at the same time, lost your top tower. That Rift Herald has actually started for the side of US Army. Looks all but gone. No jungle in sight.
Turtle, I
might have the Corki show up very soon. This might be a 2v2.
Might be a 2v2 indeed. Porkchop's going to go
right onto Professor.
He is on the run. Alcremie is there as well. 3 on the run. That chain connects. Valencia is on the run. Dirtle's trying to get him. The damage coming through, but Porkchop's going low. Dirtle's trying to turn around. There's the chomp. There's the damage. And there is the Tom Kench we've been talking about. Professor Kali going to be looking for the re-engage, but that's the barrier. Going to pop out. The chain connects. The root comes through. Valencia looking for the turnaround. Is he going to be able to find it? The slow is there. Turtle picks up another. And look at that. The Tom Kench is coming online.
Yeah, that's a feels good man right there. Dirtle looking for another, actually. Hopefully this doesn't come back to bite him. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Oh, come on! Alright, reported.
Angle Death, you're in trouble as well.
What the heck is happening here?
What is going on?
What the...
Oh my god!
Why don't you take this one, Cats? I'm a wee bit tilted.
It's okay. I am too, but we're just going to roll with it because Talented's still looking for the kill, taking another tower shot there. Super Mega Death Rocket is available. It needs a little bit of extra mana. The slow is there. There's the Spell Shield trying to turn it around. The Zap doesn't connect. Talented's looking for the turnaround. He's got lethal tempo. Both of them do. Still both looking for the turn, but Turtle takes us to the top side. Cookie is there. Nothing to do. Talented accepts his fate.
All right, but that's a lovely turn of momentum. You might even get some free time to take this Infernal Drake for Dirtle. He's trying to get out.
Come on, I believe in you. Just take the fight. You're a Tom Kench. You can do it.
He's actually the protagonist, by the way, of this game, and it looks like he might just go down.
Oh. I mean, I'm hoping a little bit too much when I totally know he's just dead.
Yeah, he keeps playing with our emotions. I mean, you always want to root for the protag, and that's Dirtle right now. Well, I thought it would be actually a bit of a mana advantage and the chance for a dragon for the side of Dawn White, but at the moment it's really a toss-up as to whose chance it is. Alacrity poking around, securing some vision, along with the side of Rito and Valencia. The three-man strong is around this Infernal, so it's definitely up to Don White to figure out how to approach this. Going to be pressuring that bot tower, actually. That's going to force Valencia to show his face. No snare landing.
Choppers are there. He actually walks right into it. There's a big soul shackle turn around the prison as well. Valencia goes down. The next target. Zap not available just yet. Trying to turn around. The dark not there. And Zap connects a little bit of extra damage. Super Mega Death Rocket still available for Angle Death. Need to be careful. This will be a 4v5. You've got Tom Kench on the way. That's an Infernal Dragon. Both these teams won it. There still might be a fight. No flash available. No soul shackles rather for Jewel Spittle. They still want this fight. Just Corky go 5-0 and 2.
Okay, here we go. It's Burn, and
I think they're just gonna give it. Yep.
Yeah.
Over the Dom. Get the smite this time around. He goes down to 28 HP, but Valiska still able to get it.
Good job. I mean, honestly, my biggest worry was Alacrity on the LeBlanc. Might have posed a big threat, but it was the cohesive call coming out for the side of U.S. Army, and let him have the Infernal. We'll just, we'll get this game back. Bit of a response in this bot lane. It's actually going to be 3 for both sides. Hitting the bot lane. There's the charge. Who's going to tank it, though?
Dark Binding does nothing, turning it back around, but look at the damage. Talented CC it up. He gets the kill on the dual spell. The reset as well. Angle Death is running away. Pork Chop is there. Beskula is still looking for it.
Wow.
Death Rocket gets up there. The reset for the Jinx. She wanted the stun for Pork Chop. You have nowhere to go. Maybe looking for the reset. Beskula.
Hey.
Oh, the Triumph. He stays alive just barely. And that'll be the bot lane tower as well.
Yeah, that's going to force out the Rift Herald put down for the side of U.S. Army Esports. They want to take advantage of the fact that there's a lot blown in that bot side. But it really just has one impact, one good impact on that mid tower, and back down to the Shadow Realm for him. So quite unfortunate for old Shelly over there, and it's going to mean a return push coming in for the side of Don White, and they're in a relatively good position if we talk about the game as a whole. You're getting towards your power spikes if you talk about those two marksmen. I mean, Corky already has the Triforce, probably working on either the Stag Shiv or the Rapid Fire Cannon, and for the side of Jinx, of course, you're working towards that crit, and she's actually going to orient towards either a Rapid Fire or a Static rather than the Runans, which is a little weird. I usually see people go towards Runans early, but I can see why you would want Rapid Fire here, right? You just want to utilize that range. You don't want to get too close, and you probably don't think there's going to be a big clump anyway.
Yeah, I actually really like the Rapid Fire Cannon build here from Angle. You just have so much extra range. It's a champions like that game, like the LeBlanc, like the guy in the top of the lead.
Yeah, that's the guy. There we go.
So much extra range, but here is the charge.
Black
Opting
Shield.
for some extra. Black Shield is there, but I don't think it's going to matter. Still on the run. Flash and heal is available. He's able to get alive. Soul Shackle stalling out for a little bit of extra time. There, Turtle. He's going for the 1v4. The legend himself, but coming back in as Valis and Professor Kali. Super Mega Death Rocket do some extra damage, and Pork Chop is not in the best spot. He will be the next for them. Professor Kali a little bit of extra damage. Angle picks up another one on the bottom side. And the rest of Dawn collapses, and they're looking for the top tower.
Yeah, speaking of not on the best side of things, I mean, you're missing 2 members for that engage if you are the side of U.S. Army Esports. They only bring 3. It's not a quick execution. It's a long, extended fight because of the fact that Dirtle's there. You leave enough time for Don White to respond with members of their own. They capitalize on that. They take this top tower. It's going to be traded for the bot, but at the same time, winning these skirmishes is what it's all about. You want to start snowballing it in your favor in terms of the gold lead, and this is how you do it.
I mean, even that Alacrity, he uses his full combo there on Professor Kali, but it doesn't matter. He's so strong. He's got the Trinity Force. He's got that zeal and working towards that Fire Cannon, I'd assume. And he could just trade out so much damage backwards. Alacrity just not strong enough. He's only got the Luden's Echo and those Sorcerers. Now you have Angle here, and I don't think he's worried about that LeBlanc at all.
Yeah, and I think just... Hold on a second. I think just talking back about the early game that we just witnessed coming out for Don White, I think it was actually pretty good. Like, you didn't fall behind for one thing, and I think the intervention of both Baskilla and also Professor Akali coming in with the clutch packages, with the clutch roams, really did allow the side of Don White to snowball when otherwise I thought that their lanes, when left to their own devices, might have lost out slightly, but well played overall from Don White. They're looking to crack open this mid tower, to crack open the jungle in their favor, to start controlling it. You've already got Baron spawned up 15 seconds ago, and you're ready to accelerate this game. It's just a matter of putting those touches on that mid tower, making sure you don't lose anything in return for Don White.
And Don White are not letting go of this game just yet, not letting go of this series, and trying to take down the current 4-1 USA Esports. Still have another game to go, even if they do win this. Of course, it's the best of 3. USA Esports up 1-0. Plenty of time to go, and plenty of scaling for both these teams as well.
Oh yeah, you think about the composition for Don White, and it's going to be that double marksman, very thick front line as well, so it makes a good amount of sense. I think the only thing that you're lacking really is a good amount of CC on your side. You only really have the Sejuani to be watching your back there. I mean, Morgana snares, they can be stopped by the charge from the Kled. I think what we're really seeing is, as long as you can keep your distance, obviously the side of Don White wins, but we're finding a... hold on a second.
As well. Super Mega Death Rocket. Look at
what?
It just comboed up. It comes from downtown. It doesn't even matter. Valencia does find the knockout. Not going to look for the re-engagement. Porkchop will be the next to go down. Oh, that's there from Jinx. Turtle flashes in. He gets the chop, and next is Rito. He goes nowhere left to be found, and a triple kill on over, looking for more of Baskilla. We'll walk on up with Dirtle as well. 2 players remaining are only that Keen and only that LeBlanc, and Don Life looking for the inhibitor.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get a huge capitalization off of this if you are Don White. Here's the response coming out from US Army, but I think Valencia...
He bit off more than he can chew. He might only hit 1, but will it matter? Alfredy goes right into the trap. He gets
wow.
But Presakalia is still alive, gonna try and look away, but look at the top catch. It doesn't matter. There's the stun, there's the chop, and spit him right back out. Double kill for Presakalia on that Corki. Looking for Porkchop's going in to Barry to keep him alive for just a bit longer. The stun is there. Turtle, though, need to be careful. That's what Tom can, but Porkchop will bring him out. And there's nowhere to go. He chopped someone last time, still a little bit longer, and Porkchop gets the double.
That's just Porkchop finally doing what his team has been trying to do for the last 30 seconds and push back the side of Don White. No inhibitor gained there, but at the same time, you got 2 towers off of that 2-man pick, so well played for the side of Don White. They're definitely starting to gain momentum here. It's just a matter of keeping it. Rito just going to throw a bit of poke there, take out that pink ward that was placed down from Jewel Spittle. And the name of the game is starting to become the Baron, and really what's the setup for your 5v5, because I think for the composition of US Army Esports, you actually have a really good time getting onto the backline of Don White. It's just a matter of, is your engage cohesive, is it decisive, and are you all together? Because that last fight was not the one that you wanted to see for the side of US Army Esports. They lost their AD carry, I believe, instantly, did a weird charge from the side coming in from Porkchop, and while it didn't look too bad, you can definitely see a lot more improvement if they were to be, you know, a very decisive together call coming out for the side of US Army. So we'll have to see what the setup is, but vision control starting to be gained for the side of Don White.
Yeah, there's just so much protection here for that Jinx, for that Corki, with the Sejuani, with the Tom Kench, with the Morgana. It's really hard to get onto them. You do, of course, have Valencia and you have Porkchop on that Kled and on that Kane, respectively, but will it matter too much? I don't really think it will. And there you go. Alfredy looking at a little bit of damage, but there you go. Instantly, Jewel Spittle throws on that black shield, able to negate some damage. USA Esports, though, trying to move over to Baron instead of some vision, hasn't been taken by anyone just yet. Here comes the charge. Looking in, Jewel Spittle might be just a little bit caught out, and indeed he is. He's going to go gold with those soul shackles. Not going to find the stun on anyone, but that's a big stun. Look at the Super Mega Death Rocket. That's 2 going down, and that's the 3rd. Porkchop as well. Angle Death gets a double. Angle Death gets a triple kill, and that should be the Baron, if not the game.
Yeah, and that's a great setup for the side. I mean, here we go. Trade of kills, but overall, you're very happy with that team fight. If you are the side of Dawn White, the only one really getting caught out there was Jewel Spittle. A lot used on her, but the rest of that backline was untouched. You had a beautiful counter engage coming out from Basquilla with the Glacial Prison. And now you have complete control over this Baron. Might go down to 50-50 if Professor Akali does not push it forward. There's Dirtle starting to rotate. Down to 3k on the Baron. Here we go.
Was going in, but a bit too early.
And there you go. That's that Baron once again secured. Dawn White find themselves a good team fight. A good response to that engage, and a Baron in their pocket now, and Bear Inhibitor in the mid lane. It's definitely going to be something that you want to orient yourself towards, as well as that Infernal Drake coming up. If you can scoop both of those objectives, you actually have your way very close to sealing up this game.
Yeah, and Dawn is just so far ahead right now. Their Corki's 13-1-7, Jinx 8-1-13, all nearing these kind of items. No, okay, sorry, I don't want to say item spikes, item peaks, where you're just not going to get any stronger than you are. The inhibitor, though, still open, and the Infernal Dragon is up. And do you really want to take this right now is my question.
Yeah, this Death Ball is just way too strong for the side of Dawn White. I think if you're in formation, if you have the frontliners in position to blow back this engage, it's really difficult for the side of US Army Esports to really start getting that damage onto the backline, because yeah, you've really got to find either a flank or you've got to start playing around with split pushes. But oh, there's that package blown. I'm just gonna make sure that mid inhibitor is taken, and once again the Infernal Dragon, the inhibitor taken, and now things look almost too late for the side of US Army Esports. They've got to come out with a really chaotic fight, find themselves onto those key players, Professor Akali and Angel Death, if they want a chance of winning this game.
You can't contest this power right here. You need to be careful. You know there's players around it. But what you need to do right now is you need to force a fight before these supers start crashing and just pray you win. You're down almost 10,000 gold. It's be hard to win, but you've got to do it. There's the knockup. There's the damage. Corki going really low, but look at that. Out more than enough. The damage coming through. The Runin's Hurricane. Dirtle gets another. It's a reset for the Drinks, and it's a disaster. Talent hit the next to go down. Look at the crit. Angle Death looking for the quadra kill. Scumbags Dirtle. Steal the penta. Steal the penta. It's not the skill to take one, but that will be game 27, 45, 40. We're still going up at 35 to 17 kills. A few more minions crashing in the mid lane before we end up ending.
Yeah, and I mean, it was really too late for the side of US Army Esports to get blown back. That team fight could not find themselves quickly enough and find the damage onto that backline.
Just like that, they pick up game number 2 and gonna send us to the game number 3. Dawn White with the hopes of the reverse sweep here in the Upsurge Minor League week number 6, trying to send US Army Esports down to 4-2 and send themselves to 4-2 tied up as well.
Yeah, very good. I mean, it was an even early game for the most part, but Dawn White, they make sure that they're playing to their team composition. And I think the really pivotal fight was that Infernal Drake, when we saw it go over for the side of Dawn White, and then the next fight goes in their favor, and the next fight. It's just you have a really great, like, sort of 5v5, like, death ball composition, and there's just not a lot of conventional options for the side of US Army Esports. I think they had to get much more creative with their engages. They had to abuse the charge when the side of Dawn White were not prepared, but instead they sort of waited for those objectives when you're guaranteed 5v5s, the Baron, the top lane tower. You're going to be playing front to back there, and that's not what you want. But overall, solid game. I think we really saw good play coming out of the bot lane for the side of Dawn White. Angel Death definitely used his lead correctly, got rolling quickly, and was never really out of position. Admittedly, it's hard to get out of position when you always have that Tom Kench next to you. You've always got the Black Shield, and that really came in clutch when it came to those really random engages coming from the Kled. But solid game. I'm not sure if I'm really saying they're the favorites now for the series, because although it was really good, I could still see the series going either way.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have the Mordekaiser. There wasn't too much potential in the top lane for Pork Chop to snowball like we saw in the previous game. And it ended up, Alcrady getting really, really strong. Or sorry, not Alcrady. Corki getting really, really big and kind of putting everyone on his back, allowing his Jinx to scale up and hit those items where she's able to just get really, really strong and just shred through that front line and back line. But with that, we're going to go to a quick break. When we're back, it'll be game number 3 between US Army Esports and Dawn White. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 3 between Esports and Don White. Once again, I'm your play-by-play Cats, and whoa, words are. I have Switch with me, and we are into game number 3 between these two teams. And man, have we had an exciting back and forth series so far.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see a comeback coming in, but Don White, they do a very controlled early game, come into that mid game swinging, start winning team fights, and what do you know, they end up at the enemy nexus. I guess that's how League of Legends works. Now, digging right into this ban phase, I mean, seeing a lot of recurring bans, but at the same time, lots of adaptation. Tom Kench taken out, Morgana taken out, and of course, you got to keep that Mordekaiser off of the table, lest we get into another game 1.
Yeah, another Mordekaiser was a definitely an interesting pick in game 1. Started out 7-0. You know, that's the story of the game. But Champions Open, like Sejuani, like Hecarim, are on the table now, not taken away like we've seen these two previous games. And we're going to see what both these teams are going to do. Don White did like that Sejuani in game number 2, and it's going to be the Olaf pickup here for the U.S. Army Esports.
And I think the good part about the series is we did see a response coming out from Don White. It's basically have a good team composition and not get blown out of the water in the early game. Perhaps even have a strong jungler and then have a good mid-game team fight composition. I think it really came true for that last game. This game, though, a lot of things switched up. The Olaf first pick, I'm not necessarily sure what that's about because you still have the Sejuani open, but at the same time, neither did Don White. I mean, they go for the Hecarim and the Zoe, and that's going to be the LeBlanc as a response. So Zoe versus LeBlanc, that's going to be exciting. Hecarim versus Olaf, both obviously going to be trying to go into that backline, but Olaf really packs a punch if you let him stay alive for a long time. I guess you could say Hecarim as well, but he's more of that engage type playstyle. He's more of trying to get into that backline, disrupt the formation, and allow a lot of opportunities for the rest of his team to start to clean up a fight. The Ezreal going to be the last one, and we've got a lot of picks here that we did not see before.
Yeah, both these teams compositions a bit. That Hecarim, of course, unbanned, so we're seeing him this time around. And with that, it's really going to come down to this mid lane. I'm really liking this matchup. The Zoe and the LeBlanc. It's so volatile. It's going to go either way. Or it should, anyway. I'd love to see it go either way. I'd love to see them fighting back and forth and trying to take it either way. But we will see what it comes down to. That last pick will be the Karma. So not straying away from that one, as that pick is back. I think it's 100% this series. Don't quote me on that. I do know it was definitely in our last game. That was that.
I think the side of Don White, we're actually stuck in a situation where they wanted to pick Karma, but at the same time, they probably also wanted to pick Sivir, because Sivir's just really good. And especially against Ezreal, where Ezreal cannot deal with all of that wave clear coming out from Sivir. Next patch, or I guess tomorrow, Sivir is getting nerfed in terms of her ricochet mana cost. It's like plus 15. But for now, she just finds it way too easy to wave clear. Surprised we're actually seeing the Karma instead. But if you want to go for that strong early game, if you want to go for that lane presence, definitely go ahead, scoop up that Karma. The ban's coming through. Yuumi, that's probably a good ban. I could also see perhaps, Soraka, like you could say, because that is the only other support that we've seen. But going to be the Irelia instead. Maybe not too worried about Ezreal Soraka. Admittedly, that doesn't sound like that good of a lane.
Yeah, I mean, the Sivir is open, and that's really what I'd like to see as the last ban here from US Army Esports. You talk about the wave clear we'd see from Don White just constantly shoving that Ezreal in, and I'd really like to see that taken away.
Yeah, and I don't know why you would want to give it over. Like, the Hecarim on the other side.
It's right there. There it is.
You know, like, thank God. It's going to be the Sivir ban. It took a little longer than I wanted, but either way, now you're at a position where, okay, the Jinx, once again. See, there are two approaches if you want to facilitate a Jinx. One, you're always engaging before the enemy team, so you don't have to worry too much about that dive. Or the second approach, which we saw last game, was just make sure you have the tools to save that Jinx. So we saw the Black Shield, we saw the Devour. This time, though, I would definitely say that in terms of 5v5 team fights, you have the upper edge already if you are Don White. Inspire with the mantra activated. You've got Hecarim going into the enemy lines, as well as that Zoe poking through. You've got a lot of stuff that will give you priority, and hopefully the Jinx won't be pressured too much. Pyke actually going to be secure. This is, of course, the day before Pyke, in terms of solo lane Pyke, gets gutted, so could still see a bit of a swippity swap into that top lane, but no, it's going to be the Urgot instead. I haven't seen Urgot in a hot minute.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while since I've seen my last Urgot. We're gonna have to see what Don White wants to react to it with. That Tom Kench is taken away, so we're not gonna see that this time around. Not gonna be unbenching that Kench.
Right, yeah.
Aatrox, Mordekaiser as well. Darius getting covered here, and Darius getting locked in.
Okay, so lots of stuff swapping around, and Darius Urgot. Let me try and think about that for a second. I mean, obviously, let's snowball you, right? If the Darius gets ahead, he's going to have a good time, but I think you might have the upper edge if you are Urgot. I mean, for one thing, he is ranged, but also the fact that he's going to be doing that percent damage with his shotgun knees, and I think his setup for ganks is also better. He has the disdain, but he also has that ultimate at level 6 where Fear Beyond Death, even if you don't get that execute, I think the slow alone is a really big tool, especially against a Darius that has no disengage, has no gap close. So might prove to be quite fearsome combined with that Olaf gank. If you can get a strong slow, let the Olaf get on top of him, deal some damage yourself, and you definitely have a recipe for success in terms of ganks in that top lane. On the other side, another cohesive team composition coming out for the side of Don White. I think the only thing you're missing is an On the Hunt, admittedly, But yeah, Jinx is the second best thing. And what Jinx has that Sivir lacks is that explosiveness, right? If you actually do get ahead in lane, like we saw last game with the Jinx coming out, if you do get ahead, you actually start to become way too big of a threat on your team. And it requires the side of US Army to start diving that backline. We'll have to see how they really start to approach making sure that bot lane doesn't snowball, but also giving good priority to it once we get into those team fights. Very excited to see, especially how this Pyke turns out.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of excited to see Talented on something different as well. We saw him play really well on that Draven in the first game, but he's not on something that will snowball like it. He's not on a super early game carry. He's on this caster AD carry, this Ezreal that's going to sit back, that's going to farm for that tier and man immune, that's going to have to throw those Qs back and forth. And it's really going to come down to who's going to win this mid game, who is going to be strong enough to take it over from there. Because you have this LeBlanc that are going to consistently look for roams as well. And with that, Switch, the question for you is, which team do you think is going to take and start to run away with it?
Another prediction. All right, let me give this a good gander.
I'm believing in you.
Right. let me just talk through this. I think bot lane, you have to make plays if you are US Army Esports. You're going to be shoved in a lot with the Jinx karma. Like I said, Ezreal has no wave clear. Pyke gives little wave clear, if anything, and you're really looking to blow it up with some good ganks. But Olaf isn't necessarily what comes to mind when I think about good ganks. Mid lane, it's honestly a skill matchup. I think both junglers also have a good chance of having a good impact in that mid lane, but I honestly don't think that's going to be the focus. I think it could just be that top lane because of the fact that if you snowball your top laner ahead when they're melee versus melee, that becomes so impactful. And having a strong top lane throughout the rest of the game where you can force them to split push and you need answers coming out of the enemy team is a big tool to have. I actually think it might go in favor of Don White here just because of the fact that they keep the Jinx, they have a strong bot lane, and your jungler is pretty much on par. Hecarim versus Olaf, I would say they do pretty much the same thing, but right now in this current meta, I think I might even favor Hecarim a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead, predict Don White. They came with a controlled playstyle last game, waited for their team composition to really get online and play it through those 5v5s, and I think you have a similar setup here. I think they're going to get to that mid game where they can prosper. I think they're going to take the W too.
Yeah, and trying to turn it around, trying to kind of just stay alive and scale. And, they've lost the game one so convincingly. 17 minutes, that inhibitor tower ended up dropping. And this time around, that slow, controlled mid game, push it into a little bit later and get that Jinx scaled, get that Jinx items. And just like you said, I think that's what they're going to do. And I think that's what they should do, of course. On the other side, though, once again, a snowballing comp for USA Esports. You have the LeBlanc, you have the Urgot, you have the Pyke that are all these champions that just want to get ahead. All these champions just want to start to run you over. And it's going to come down to if Dawn can just control their early game.
Absolutely. I mean, Dawn needs to control it. On the other hand, of course, US Army Esports needs to blow up this early game. And the only problem is I don't think they have as strong of a top laner as they had game one. I think their bot lane is really going to be bleeding pressure and requiring jungle attention. That's going to leave your mid or your top vulnerable to ganks and the such. So we'll have to see how they play it off overall. I mean, if you do sort of get ahead, especially on the Ezreal, I think he's a really suffocating champion. You're going to get that Iceborne. You're going to get that Manamune. And when you really hit that power spike, you're just going to be putting out a huge amount of damage, and you have the tools to kite out this composition as well. Hecarim and Darius aren't going to be too much of a problem. So bot lane, very important for US Army Esports. See how they approach it.
Yep, US Army Esports versus Don White, 1-1 going into game number 3 here. But before we do go to our quick break, I want to give a huge shout out to Midwest Esports. They've been around for many years, starting as a small student group out of Wichita State University. Since then, the Midwest Esports has grown to be a veteran organizer to tournaments and events throughout the US. They host tournaments for games like League of Legends, Rocket League, as well as Overwatch. For more information, check them out at MidwestEsports.com. Don't go anywhere, or do get your popcorn, get your snacks, come right on back, because we will be back with game number 3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game number 3 here at the Upsurge Minor League, week number 6. US Army Esports versus Don White, both 1-1. Don Esports looking for that reverse sweep, looking to stay or push forward to 4-2 and knock down Army Esports down to 4-2 as well, but not letting up so far. Not letting up just yet.
Yeah, and bit of a tricky early game coming in here. The level 1, the slow landing, the undertows. That's going to force out the flash from Dirtle.
Oh, that is a really big flash, actually. Valencia can look for those weaknesses.
Oh, gosh.
Look early. What is going on here?
You're just, like, hiding behind the wall, and you're like, please, don't hit me. Don't do it.
I don't know what I just watched, but it worked. Take a peek here at what's going on this top side. Pork Chop and Valencia are all up here.
Oof.
They get a bit of extra damage for that paddle star, but
Might actually steal the red. Let's see now, because we have Dirtle hovering.
See, the best thing though for Dirtle is him having that ward in that bush, because I feel like they're totally just gonna try and choose top. Flashless.
Yeah. No flash Darius. Double melee matchup. I think you're gonna want to snowball that one. So the gank might just be coming through real soon. But for Valencia, I mean, already taking this red buff, whether or not that's in the knowledge of the side of Dawn is another thing. But the fact that you take the red buff, you take the Raptors too, is gonna make things a little better for you. There you go. The response invade coming out from Baskilla. And here's the thing. This is the strong side of US Army Esports. You could already see the Pyke rotating. Nice gank in the mid lane.
Gonna connect with those undertows. There's another solo
Valkyrie
on the other side. You have Hecarim running down. The flash and heal still available.
This is bad.
He's still on the red buff. You needed to move quicker, and he's gonna go down. You know, heal. Is over, and that is 2 easy kills.
Well, that's quite unfortunate. It's the stronger side of the enemy team. That's why the invade is strong, right? Because you force the enemy jungler to invade. He was a step behind, had to invade as his second buff. A strong gank in the mid lane from Valencia means that Professor Akali has to run all the way to his jungler, but his jungler dies as well. So that's a big swing. You lose those buffs as Valencia as well, or as a Baskilla as well, so you're really behind. There's a flash. Whoa.
I don't know if you want this. That's an Ezreal. You don't really have the damage. The Ignite go down, though. He's going to go down the teleport.
Okay.
You do not
We're
have
going, boys.
Heal. No, what is going on?
That's a good juke.
Flashing forward, the zap is there as well. The gun
up.
Please, no.
My eyes. All right. That was something.
So.
Hey, good job from the side of US Army Esports. They didn't completely fumble that. So.
Sleepy bubble trouble. Let's connect. A little bit extra damage with that paddle star. Alcrady is going to take a bit. Hasn't backed yet with that kill and assist, but
it's unfortunate too.
Yeah,
because you're quite behind for Baskilla. He's still level 2. It's like 4 minutes in. That's a nice interrupt coming out for Pyke, but you got a lot of catching up to do if you are Baskilla. I bet you're really hoping that rubber band was how it was in past seasons. A solid gang coming in. That's a good chunk of damage. But that's Valencia on the Olaf. The flash as well.
He's got no flash. Ignite is available. Valencia's Battle's gonna go down here, and Alcrady picks that one up. Maybe trying to turn around. Undertow not connecting. The flash is available for Akali. Be able to look for anything there. Dirtle, though, might be taking this one. He's got the 5 stacks flash available for both of them. Or rather, not Dirtle yet. A bit of extra damage, but flash blown for Pork Chop up top side.
I mean, at the very least, we found our win condition, boys. Someone please camp Dirtle. The problem with that gang from Baskilla was it didn't really look promising at all. Like, you saw the damage come through. It was like, what, 200 onto a LeBlanc. Kept chasing. That gave you enough time for Valencia to come and respond. And this isn't really what you want to do. I mean, cut your losses, Baskilla. Go ahead and farm your jungle. Or play it low-key for the most part. And try and have a better impact in, say, 3 minutes. It's tough. Because you wanted to get your solo lanes rolling for the side of Dawn White, but this early game didn't come out like you wanted to. This looks a little more high percentage, but just LeBlanc things, so she's able to get out A-okay, and at the very least, that's just a transition gank, but gotta catch up.
Yeah, a lot of things.
This is bold.
They're trying to do this. Both teleports available.
Okay, Valencia like 10 seconds away, but this dragon is only a third down. And there's the peel off. Yeah, the slow as well is just as impactful as that damage. That's going to be the peel off coming out for Dawn White. Not the worst of attempts, and you don't lose too much off of it. At least you didn't lose any kills or anything like that, but he's going to give a bit of pressure back over, so the pink ward goes down.
Ward goes down there as well. You know, nothing too much going down, clearing out that jungle pressure. And once again, you can see Valencia just moving in. And Segner really can't do anything. Dirtle, he's looking for that. He's a little greedy for it. Knows that doesn't have flash, but knowing better of it. However, does have the meat grinder.
Ooh, Valencia. I mean, he's got pressure for it, as opposed to when the side of Dawn did it, and it was just like, hey, I hope no one checks. And then they did check, and then you're like, oh, gotta go, haha. But this Ocean Drake gonna go in for the side of US Army is Drew Spittle and Baskilla.
Skilla's there. The Ignite's going to tick down on both of them. It's 1-for-1 so far. Drew Spittle there as well.
Okay.
The zap does. There's the slow. It's need that key.
Here's Dirtle.
Dirtle's there at the teleport. He flashes over. Not going to connect.
Hang on.
That OP over the wall. It doesn't going to matter, though.
Oh, he's going.
There's the dog. Dirtle finds that when he's trying to turn around. Pike, I'm sorry. There he goes.
That's actually a sick play.
Kills.
What a play coming out for the side of Dawn Esports. They really capitalized on that dragon take, bring the whole family down to use that teleport. Not losing any plates in the top lane, so not too bad either, but really a good swing, and you're right back to even in terms of that gold. Lost the Ocean Drake, but you definitely appreciate those kills onto Angel Death and onto Dirtle as well. Those are your 2 win conditions, so well played from the side of Dawn.
Yeah, doing good so far about getting the kills onto the proper carries. You get one onto the Darius. Here you go. The gank up top side. Urgot is flashless. There's the pull rate back. Yeah, you've got nowhere to go, buddy. I'm sorry. There's the 5 stacks, and Dirtle secures the second one there. His Darius is starting to get rolling. 2-0-0. Did get that gank up by Baskilla.
Yep.
Valencia on the other side hasn't really been able to do anything else and farm his own jungle. Nowhere to really gank. Doesn't have priority in that mid or bottom side either, so can't really look for that invade.
Yeah, that skirmish overall around that dragon really did even things out for Baskilla. Only down 1 level currently. Level 6 Ragnarok available for Valencia, but going for a blue buff steal. Here's the hook. Not gonna land though, and that's gonna be a bit of return damage down. Talented cannot hang with all this damage coming out. There's a stun.
Super Mega Death Rocket is available. It's going to turn around and looking for that ultimate. A lot of damage go down. He gets pulled right back to the tower. Oh my god, Angle. He's going to find that one. Going to take another Q, but just barely survives. Talented wants it. He knows that he's going to go over the wall. This shield's there. You cannot do that. You cannot do that, Talented. He goes down. Valencia looking for one. The flash is almost up, and he's going to get not available for Skilla. He's just dancing around. Drew Spittle, you're up too far. Nice. Careful, but it doesn't matter. Angle secures another one, and now the Jinx is 4-0-1.
Yeah, and Cats, the shoe is on the other foot now. The Mantra Resolve is going to make sure that the sustain comes in for the side of Jewel Spittle. And that's another big swing. 4 kills in a row, plus 2 plates for the bot lane. You're really starting to take control of this game. And what happened with US Army? Even Porkchop not feeling it today.
There's available. There it is. There's the Q too. Man, this is just going everything right for Don White right now.
Did I miss some like 8-minute power spike coming in for the side of Don White? Like, this is just a lot of things coincidentally happening in favor of Don White in a row. Okay, I don't want to say coincidence because it was good play from them, but you know what I mean. Like, this in controlled gameplay, this shouldn't be happening, but well played from the side of Don White. Definitely playing a heads up, looking for the opportunities. They found it too. 5 kills up, currently 2,000 gold, and you're feeling good right now. Once again, the gold on your main carries. Dirtle 3-0. You've got the side of Angel Death as well on the Jinx, 4-0 right now. There's some big problems building up for you if you are US Army Esports. Sure, you do have good scaling, but I don't know if you can hang with all of this damage coming out from the top and from the marksman position.
This Jinx is 4-0-1, and she has an Infinity Edge 10 minutes. Look at that crit. Look at that.
Yeah, that's balanced and fair. So
I mean, she's just like 4-0. Yeah. Has her double buffs. Got a crit. Maybe the crit's a little lucky.
Honestly, like, they worked for their lead, so
Yeah.
props to them, definitely. This next dragon coming up quite soon. It is going to be Cloud, so not necessarily another high priority dragon, but you gotta expect might go in the favor of the side of Dawn White because of the pressure that they have in the lanes. Mid being pushed, top lane, just Porkchop just cannot walk up to the minion wave currently, and there's a nice chain. Oh wow!
Damage coming through. Porkchop pull right back on into the meat grinder. Fear beyond death securing that one. That'll give Urgot a kill. Professor Kali, the only one without a kill for this earth, without any KP. Oh my god!
Okay.
Death rocket.
Well, that's just jinx things, you know. That's why we love playing her in solo queue. Your one lane loses, but you end up scooping up that kill. So nice heads up play coming out from Angel Death. Pressure in the tower too. The top lane looking worse actually, as good damage onto Porkchop here. And yeah, Alacrity is doing relatively good, but the top and bot not doing so hot. Basquilla caught back up. Here's a collapse.
Valencia does have that flash. He has the ultimate as well. He does pop it nice and early. Ultimate was available to skill up. I'm kind of surprised he didn't try and force that one out. I felt like he was going to go for it, you know, kind of confident with players behind him as well. Gonna go in. Ultimate is there.
That forces the flash. So flash for flash. And of course, you did just take this Cloud Drake as well. If you are the side of Dawn White, so nice scoop up. Your Hecarim especially, gonna be appreciating that one, and you gotta start to slow down the momentum. Oh, what? That did not connect?
Oh, Paddlestar is so close there.
You gotta start slowing it down if you are US Army Esports, and Valencia, he's gotta be at like 2 lanes at once.
No flash available from Porkchop. Ultimate there. Yeah, you've got no way. There's been dumb. She's got her reset. Valencia, I don't know if you're gonna take it. Angel, you're in trouble. Look at the damage coming through. It's that AOP finds that one in a 5-1. Gets shut down. 800 gold, just like you said. It's Hanover Ragnarok not available top right either. And another kill, but don't comes through. And Dirtle is now 5-0-0.
Poor Valencia, he's just trying to play the game right now, but either way, it's gonna be the Rift Herald secured, and you take 1 L on the bot side, but you get a W on the top side. 2 Ws, I would say, because that Rift Herald is gonna be very much appreciated. Some plates getting taken in exchange, but I think I value Rift Herald more. I mean, the potential to take down perhaps a mid tower is gonna be huge. Whoa, Fear Beyond Death put down.
He needs to be careful. He gets the heal, but it doesn't matter at all.
Oops.
Greedy play, man. I just gotta say, this game's a mess.
Oh yeah, I think it might be mental fatigue just heading both teams at the moment. Even though it's only a best of 3, and that's not as bad as it can get. But
to be fair, we're nearing 12 a.m. Eastern time, and some of these players
that's
probably
true.
pretty tired. Got work in the morning.
That's true. We did hit some delays. Thank you everyone for watching this. By the way, 1 hour off, but we're still pretty on par. I mean, only 1,000 gold less, actually 500. Separating the 2 teams at the moment. Another engage, but that's the instant flash away from Pike.
Mega Death Rocket available. There it comes. It pops, and he's looking for another talented. Goes down. Angle gets that one as well. And Valencia's going to take the pink board.
Yeah, maybe 10 seconds earlier, Valencia. I mean, unfortunate timing on that one. Well played from the bot lane of Dawn White, and they're just not stopping. Both the top and the bot are having a ball this game. The bot tower, first brick going in favor of Dawn White as well. You got a lot of stuff working for you. Next dragon gonna be Ocean in 2.5 minutes. And what power spike are you sort of starting to approach right now for the side of US Army Esports? Because I don't really see much. You're working on your first IM4 LeBlanc. That might help. This top lane, it's just not going to work out for you because it was really about snowballing, and it's not working out. The Dirtle on the Darius is way ahead. The Rift Arrow goes down to mid. That's going to crack open to start this mid game for the side of Dawn White. Look at those crits.
This Jinx is so big right now. Angle is 6-1-2. He's got the Infinity Edge. He's working towards another crit item. They've got Rift Tail just barreling down with them. Already picked up all those outer turrets and continuing to look for more. Probably just going to go for a reset soon. I believe they're sitting on a little bit of gold, respectively. And no real objectives up at the moment. Dragon's still a few minutes away.
Yeah, you got time to wave. You got time to wave clears. This is going to be the counter push coming in as expected for the side of US Army Esports, but don't think they're going to get much off of it. You've got great wave clear with the Jinx, so a little bit of flopping around. The NA RAM is definitely real on this one. Oh, Baskilla
is there. He
and
finds
he's
reset.
gone.
Nope, doesn't matter.
It's like, okay, wait. He's only got like 1,000 HP or something.
Opted for that warrior enchantment and nothing else.
Yeah. All right, so maybe this push might just work out for the side of US Army. That's a lot of damage out to Professor Akali.
Valkyrie's too far up though. Oh, one more crit he might have gone down. So the next Death Rocket is available. Angle though completely out of mana, not gonna look for it.
And you've got to back now for US. Yeah, you got to back now for US Army. You don't want to be late for the dragon. Hang on, that's a pretty nice pick coming in.
Yeah, good game knowledge there.
Jesus.
Oh no! So close. Hits pork chop on the way out.
False alarm.
Not the target you wanted there.
I mean, still though, you've got great tempo for this dragon coming up. If you are the side US Army, Professor Akali only going to spawn like 2 seconds after the dragon comes up. And we'll have to see how the setup goes down. Professor Akali just respawned. It's going to be at the startup for Pork Chop, but Baskill's around for the 50-50. Let's see how it goes.
Now, Dirtle has no teleport, so this is an uneven fight if they want to take this. Jinx, though, 6-1-2. Baskilla completely caught out. Nowhere to go. Bruce Riddle caught out as well. And there is the Shriner Fear Beyond Death. Pork Chop steals that one, and that'll be his second Ocean Drake over to USA Esports. No extra towers up topside for Dirtle Idris. Nowhere even close to pushed up far enough.
And not enough respect coming out for the side of Don White. They knew they had no top laner. And you could sort of feel they were a bit behind on tempo too, but didn't catch the drift of that one. So gonna be losing 2 members quite easily, as well as that double Ocean now secured for the side of US Army Esports. Wow, she actually dodged that. Cool.
Oh my god.
Man. Oh, okay.
Oh, the flash forward. Beautiful flash. Able to find out. Looking for some more, but knowing that Pike's around, gonna opt to stay back. Well, we have Valencia down bot side. You should be able to pick up this tower. Nobody else to react. Angle going pretty aggressively here. Not too many players around. Does have Prophet Kali, Angel, Spittle kind of rotating down looking for some stuff, but not enough. You can't walk up to this tower. You don't have enough. There's not enough down. They're not really going to get too much potential of this. Really close on that hook, though.
Yeah, and at the very least, you still have top lane going quite well for you if you are Don White. This mid tower now starting to be looked upon. Still some people in transit for the side of US Army Esports, not here for the wave clear. A nice hook, but that might just be the tower. I don't know.
Oh, look at the damage go down. Talented! No way.
Oh, stop.
Here's me for a second. Here we go. Is on the run. The stun connects. She is still running away. She finally gets shut down. The 1-for-1 so far. No one else. Oh my goodness. The paddle started from the backside to shut down the Pike. Looking for more. Baskilla getting engaged up on by Valkyrie rather. And nothing else going on, I guess. Looking for some more. It's a bit too greedy, I'd say.
Yo, Baskilla needs some HP. Like, can someone get this man a Giant's belt?
I don't think he has an off switch, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
He just keeps going in, one after another. No stopping that man.
He's honestly cosplaying as a horse at this point. There's Alacrity. Can use the jump pad as well as that ultimate to get another. Jesus, he's just... Man, this guy, you're right. He has no off switch. Gonna have to get the escort right out for Valencia here. Oh, stop it. This guy's the new pro tag. It was Dirtle game 1, but this time it's Baskilla.
I love how it was Dirtle Dirtle game 2. He's 5-1-0. We're not calling him it. We're giving it to the 1-5 Hecarim.
That's Baskilla, you know. We love players with personality, and this guy has the personality of a horse, right? So.
No way to stop him. Feed him some carrots and... Oh. Carrots are cheaper than gas right now, right?
That's true. If you really want to be economical, just get a fucking horse. I'm so sorry. Just get it. I am so sorry. Whew. Just get a horse. Get a lovely horse.
Get a horse. Yep. Well, anyways,
I'm gonna go get a bar of soap real quick.
Baron has spawned. Baron is up. Finding good attack there. Okay, so he's picking up that station bubble trouble. He's gonna come out there though. Stun. Gonna go down. Look at the ultimate coming through. Pafakali gonna go a little bit. We'll chop next down. He's not gonna get that root either. Does have angle of death over the wall. Keep your eyes on him. 1 kill already. But Pafakali gives him the reset. The damage coming in from angle of death. Why is your pike so deep? He gets shut down as well. And they're gonna turn on over to this Baron.
That was really chaotic, but in the end, you're getting your damage onto the right targets. The Baron started too, because you have such an HP advantage. Both Porkchop and Talented had to back for that one. There's Zoe just poking around. TP comes down. Both Porkchop and Valencia here. 4,000 left on the Baron. Here's the approach.
Here's the approach coming in. The ultimate not available for Porkchop, but it is for him. Oh, damage coming through. The turtle going so low. Porkchop still fighting in. Not enough damage. Angle gets the reset. That's a jinx.
Oh.
Very strong. You be careful. Perfakali trying to go back on in. Not gonna find it. Talented going low. Still looking for that kill. Nothing going down. Baron has reset as well. And USA Esports is just fighting to stay in this.
And what a great Baron stop right there. Expended
no.
That's pretty good.
Ooh,
Ooh, what the?
Please don't
What's
die.
that range? What the heck?
Oh, it's VOP looking for him. If he had been in that bush, opted back there, another dead carry was what that was. But able to back off, probably going to get that reset. And you're going to send Dirtle down bottom side. He has that teleport available. And, well,
It's actually a
driving
pretty
up
fun
as
game
well.
to watch. I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying watching this game. It's just going like blow for blow. The Baron not taken in the end. Nice stall out from US Army Esports, and the Ocean Drake looking to be the target for the side of Don White. I think they're gonna secure it too. It's 100-0 on terms of that smite. Not this time, Alacrity. So, oh, hang on, Angle. Someone please save this man.
Is caught out. Oh no, there's nowhere to go. And he goes down. Porkchop securing another with that ultimate Alacrity over the wall, looking for the damage. Nothing there.
Oh, poor Angle, dude. It's a tough life if you're an ADC main. Sometimes you just take the path less taken,
Less
and
traveled.
yeah, the path less traveled leads to a Viking in your face. So try not to take that one next time. Here's a Baron started in return. I mean, you're missing your main damage in terms of the Jinx.
No,
but
but
people are trying to make his way in.
Talented goes down, but Skilla now next target. Valencia has to turn on off. Dirtle's trying to look for it. He might be able to pull a few players in. Porkchop in a little bit too deep. Might have he bit off more than he can chew. And it looks like he will.
No.
The reset is there. Dirtle is huge. No flash available for him, but he is trying to chase down. Not going to get with the hook. Is that EOP? Is there not enough with him? And man, this is just, you said blow for blow. You really meant it.
Oh, yeah. Like, these guys are taking turns, like, offering their cheeks and saying, here, put one good one. Put a good one right here, sir. Like, they're literally just fight clubbing it right now. Here we go, the Viking.
He is on the run. Yeah. Mega Death Rocket there as well. Angle taking a lot of damage. Valkyrie over the wall with a flash keep him live for now.
Oh, what?
It's that EOP trying to go for the reset, but it's not there. Now Valkyrie gonna be the next target. It's still a 1-for-1, really. So not horrible. But Valkyrie really low. Be careful. And now we're back over to the Baron.
Cats, you just explained this game. Not horrible. That's literally my feelings towards this game. Baron already down. Are we going to see another flippity flop, or is this one finally going to go to an actual team? Professor Recall, he's getting real low. Whoa, jeez.
Not able to catch the ultimate, but he should be able to kill him on the back swing. It will be one. Porkchop looking in. Angle of death on the run. The flash forward from Porkchop. He gets another kill. The Jinx is shut down once again. Baron, though, does get picked up by Dawn. Dirtle trying to turn it around. He's not able to. Will all the Barons be taken away? No, this is able to use that ultimate to escape. My God. No, not horrible.
We did it, boys. We actually got Baron onto Living Champions. It's gonna be the Hecarim and the Karma having that Baron in their pocket. That gold, though, not swinging too far, especially because of that mid tower. I mean, you get the kills for the U.S. Army, you get the mid tower, so we're really back to only 4,000 separating the two. I think it was 3,000 before the Baron, but still, overall, you're not too far behind. If you could stop the pushes from happening, you're back to that neutral.
But Skilla has a Baron. They shut that down as well.
Yeah, he's got to be careful.
Teleport there from Durdle to save that top tower. Once it is rotating on up, but that red buff wants to be secured by Angle. Once again, nothing really going on. Now that Baron is gone, we should stop fighting on this top side for no reason. We should, anyways.
Well, good thing you're not the shot caller, huh?
Yeah, honestly. Can't wait to run it down mid, boys.
What? Maybe you are the the mid push, though. Not going to come through yet for this side. I think both teams, like, there's no objectives up at the moment. At the very least, you could maybe start pushing for that tier 2 on the top or the bot side, but really not much to do now except wait for that last dragon to come up. I believe after that, you're going to be warranting... It might be a 6th dragon after that, because I'm pretty sure Elder spawns at 35. There's the pull, and Alacrity shows his face.
Yeah, he's getting collapsed on, but this doesn't really matter because...
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, look at mid lane. There's so much damage they're going to do. That's one tower, but hold up. The turnaround, Baskilla is going to stay alive for them now. Undertow is there, but Baskilla is still on the run. Angle of Death kiting out the best he can. He's going to go golden for a second. He's got Kara behind him. No damage good there as well. There's the bubble. Trying to turn it around. Angle of Death needs to be careful. The Zap is there for the slow as well. He's got lethal tempo. He's trying to turn it around. The Runions for a little bit of extra crit damage, a little bit of extra splash. Nothing found just yet, and still needs to be careful. Baskilla is coming back, full health, full mana. As both those summoner spells, Joel still needs to be careful. He's going to be able to dodge the Q. No, he's not. Turning it back around. He is trapped on up. The double stun. Angle Death, though. Look at the damage. This Jake is insane. She is so big. There's the teleport, though. Pork Chop coming right back on in. The Q slow does connect on to Baskilla. They're going to try and chase her down. Undertow not going to connect. And man, I don't know what this game is.
Yeah, not really sure, but either way, Angle's playing his butt off right now. That wasn't... by the way, high five on the stopwatch. That was actually a really sick stopwatch coming out of Angle, but the DPS coming down in response, and this dragon coming up very soon. Here's Durdle in the middle of the team.
Durdle has that ultimate. If he gets the reset, that is huge. Valencia is one to go down. Porkchop trying to get the ultimate. He does secure one. It'll be a 1 for 2. Porkchop should be able to get this. Will he be able to turn it around? No, he won't. Kill does come through, but look at how low. Prophet Kali does go down. The bubble does connect. He is
get him.
He's taking a nap. Will he be taking it permanently? The Ignite is going to tick on down to 1 for 1. He's able to secure the kill.
Not terrible.
Yeah, not horrible.
That could have been worse.
We're almost 30 minutes in, and we're pushing 58 kills. Or, sorry, 53.
And no one's touching this dragon, because it's both two members up for the side of both teams. And whew, maybe we could catch our breath now, man. Like,
I don't know. Can I, like, I'd like to ask them personally.
Yeah. Guys, pause, please. Because if they don't pause, we're actually just not going to be able to breathe. But I think the real thing that I'm lacking right now is admittedly that front line for the side of Dawn. I think the only real front line is Durdle, but Durdle wants to be utilizing this flank position, so it's this weird conflict of interest. And on the other side for US Army Esports, I think you're really starting to hit your power spikes now. Things are starting to come online for you. The only thing I'm not necessarily sold on yet is the Pike, but as long as you've got all these moving pieces, you play a chaotic team fight, you can definitely find your win conditions there. But this is a front-to-back 5v5. Here's Porkchop engaging things.
Spittle needs to be careful. He's going to be the first to go down. Flashing into the backline. Alcredy gets 1. Alcredy gets 2. Durdle's got the reset.
Durdle.
Look at this Darius. He's going huge. No, he's not. Just kidding. Angle of Death on the run. Guardian Angel not going to get top there, but he's incredibly low, looking for the hook. Kali's still on the run. Bubble does connect onto the farm. Talented, incredibly low as well. No,
are you
the
kidding
Super
me?
Mega Death Rocket. And man, Prophet Kali, he's still going. There's no stopping these teams.
You know, Cats, you know what they say, like, the more things change, the more things stay the same. That Mountain Drake is still alive.
I don't
like, they've been staring at it for, like, the past 7 minutes or so.
Angle started it up again.
Oh, heck
Real
yeah.
piece of
Let's go. Let's go. Round 3, round 3.
Valkyrie, it's me, OK, looking in. Algredy's there as well. It's down to 1.7k. 1k, who's it going to get taken by? It will be taken by Tropicali. Staying alive for now, and both these teams going to disengage. But one with a Mountain Dragon on the backside.
Yep, one the wiser on this case. As Mountain Drake secured for Don White. I don't know if I can really favor any team at the moment, because while you have good front to back, the problem is once you lose formation for the side of Don White, it really all goes downhill from there. I think a lot of the members of US Army Esports are finding their way onto Angel of Death. Thankfully now, he's got that Guardian Angel. Could mean the difference here in this next team fight. Gonna be around the Baron probably. And you're just looking for the right team fight. It's not even really about the Baron. Don't worry about the waves too, honestly. At this point, you're just looking for that right setup, because that's been defining this series. It's who wins these team fights, who gets more time after you win a team fight to take objectives. Just really looking for an opportunity now. US Army Esports want to really look into these flanks. They want to be taking care of Angle of Death.
Yeah, and, oh, here we go. Speed up from Pork Chop. Nothing coming out of it. The Chompers thrown down for a little bit of disengagement. They are fine. And this game is just teetering on a knife's edge right now. It can go either way. Whoever wins this next team fight, and if they have a few members up, if they have that 80 carry up, they might just be able to end. It's a bit of a series. Well, it's been so well and hard fought by both of them. They don't want to give it up.
Honestly, and the fact that Don White cannot check through this fog of war in the river is because of the fact that, yeah, they are lacking a safe front line. They don't necessarily have like a Sejuani, they don't have a Maokai or anything like that, so it's very dangerous to walk into this fog of war, and that's why we're seeing a lot of the vision retained in this river for the side of US Army Esports. Now going to be conceding it due to that mid push. Oh man, Dirtle right back to his stomping grounds in that split push 1v1, but Pork Chop's got something to say about that though.
Got 5 stacks.
It's so close.
Look at that damage, the crew damage. It doesn't even matter if the flash away and the last auto attack. Dirtle finds it. And there it is. It's a 4v5 if the side of the USA Army wants to take it. There is his backing, so that's telling me that he wants to TP in.
Absolutely correct. You've got nice TPs around that right side of the Baron. Here we go, already burning down pretty fast, halfway through, and we're gonna see a fight playing out here.
Valencia does not have flash. Oh, trying to go over the wall. The Baron is secured.
Oh wow, they called in
able to walk out.
Yeah, the early TP means an absolute 5v4, and US Army wants none of that. So well played overall. That's actually going to be also the inside track to go straight towards this mid inhibitor. Still 10 seconds on Pork Chop to respond, so 5v4 for the next 5.
That tower's not there. They'll get a bit of damage onto this inhibitor and should be able to take it as well.
Pork Chop
they
up.
do. Dirtle needs to be careful. He's slowed up a little bit. Undertow not going to follow it up, and they're trying to chase him down, trying to get him on this back end. Don't let him reset. Don't get him the items they want after that Baron, but it's going to come through anyways. And this Jinx is probably going to hit full build.
Yeah, you're feeling very happy if you are Angel of Death. It's really a tough life dealing with divers until you hit that sort of 4 item, 5 item, 6 item even, and right now I think the only thing you're missing is a Bloodthirster for Angle Death, but I mean, you still have your GA up, so you're in a perfectly fine position, and for the rest of the team, they're finally getting their builds. You've got 2 solid items for the Hecarim here. Gonna be putting that Hex Drinker in his pocket as well, or something along those lines. Okay, gonna go with the Bramble Butts instead. But either way, I think we're finally starting to see the pieces come into order. Like the skill is starting to get a little bit more durability along with packing a good punch. Dirtle is winning that split push, and you've got your strong carries in Professor Akali and Angle Death. So it's all working right for you. I think you just have to play standard from here, force that front to back team fight, and that's going to be easy with the Baron.
Yeah, Elder Dragon up in 30 seconds as well, and that is massive for both these teams. One with 3, one with 2. Neither of them have Infernals. A little lucky on RNG. Both them sides. Hold up, look at that bubble down bottom side. Top has to blow flash to escape. He's going to need a slow. Extra follow-up. A little scared. They don't know where that pike is. And actually gets spotted out now, so just needs to be careful. But
that is some cool animation. That's a nice skin.
There's
All right.
the teleport. Pork Chop looking for the re-engage. Damage coming through. G solo. Pork Chop goes down, trying to kite it away. Angle of death is so big. Needs to be careful. Valencia trying to get some damage back, but it's not gonna matter because Velisca finishes that one. Angle of death looking for some more. He is so tanky. He is full build. One more crit to the face, and that is gonna be another kill and another reset. It's gonna be game. It looks like Talented gonna be the only one remaining for USA Esports to hold the base, but I don't think he's gonna be able to do it. Dawn Esports looks to take this one.
And Cass, I think we can finally say that that looked terrible for the side of US Army Esports. Not the team fight they wanted. And it's all gonna go downhill from here. The
Nexus goes up in flames, and in a 36 push and 37-minute game, Angle of Death 11, 4, and 12. Dawn Esports secure that series in a reverse sweep, 2-1.
And who could see that abrupt ending coming through? It was going blow for blow, but really once that Baron kicked in, you got the setup that you wanted for the side of Dawn White. I mean, that forces the front to back, that forces people to respond to your sieges. And that's going to mean that all the vision in the world is available for the side of Dawn White. They know where the flankers are coming in from. The side of US Army Esports tried to make it as chaotic as possible, tried to find themselves onto the backline, but by that time, Angle Death was already at 6 items in, had way too much durability to really be scared of any diver from the side of US Army Esports. And this is the style that we saw Dawn White play. They play a control early game, but once they get to that mid game, they drafted a cohesive team fight and they play it out well.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the damage graph, you can just see Angle of Death just pop it off. 42k damage, most in the entire game, and double the enemy 80 carries. Actually, Ezreal only at 21k, sadly. And, you know, we kind of talked about the strength of that caster 80 carrying. Sadly, Talented not able to pop off with the Ezreal. It's just not as strong as a pick as this Jinx in this current meta.
That's the thing. You have so many 80 carries shoving you out of the meta if you are Ezreal. You've got the Sivir, the Jinx. You could even consider someone like a Varus, a Draven. I'm probably forgetting some right now. But like, there's a lot of other great 80 carries that you could be picking right now that get off the ground sooner. Talented just didn't have the greatest laning phase because of the fact that Ezreal doesn't provide you with a lot. You combine it with a Pyke, and it doesn't really make sense either because Pyke wants that kill lane, but Ezreal doesn't pack too much of a punch. I don't really know what the incentive was to really opt in for that Ezreal so early into the pick phase, but either way, I think you could definitely say that once you got to that late phase, you were lacking that dive to deal with the threat of the Jinx coming into those team fights. And the side of Dawn, on the other hand, great job holding on, great job going blow for blow, but in the end, not falling too far behind. You get to that late game stage, you get to that 6-item Jinx, and it's all curtains from there. So you got to give props to the side of Dawn White because they lost that game 1, but game 2, game 3, they played that same style, played to their composition, and hey, they come out on top. So who can doubt that play style?
Yeah, they come on back from that game 1 and end up with that reverse sweep. Dawn is going to pick up the series 2-1. Both these teams going to go to 4-2. And I think that will be it for us tonight. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Once again, we have some more games ready for you guys. And thank you all for tuning in. It's 11:47 EST. If you're still with us, huge shout out. I know we started a bit late, but thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you guys are troopers. UCL tomorrow, UPL the day after that. So go ahead and tune into Upsurge Esports. We're doing God's work over here. I mean, debatably.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.